Hello there, everybody. It's me, Kay. Welcome to a special stream. Today is, well, it's actually not the exact day, but yesterday the new Magic the Gathering set, Dominaria, came out. And I've been really wanting to do essentially a card review on that set. So I haven't seen everything from it myself, but we're going to take a good look at it and see what's new in the set, what's good, what's not. And the nice thing about Magic is that Magic is very subjective. Like, my opinion may not be your opinion, and it's certainly not the only valid opinion on cards, but for people who are in the MTG Arena beta or people who play the paper game, you might want to know what cards to be looking out for and, what you've got as options when you're opening packs and stuff, and what you might want to buy or build towards or trade for, etc. So let's just go ahead and take a look at each card in the set, and I'll give my opinion on what they are and what they're good for. We're going to start with Charge, which is the first card we've got available here. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn for 1 white mana. I've seen this card before. It usually costs more than 1 mana. It's usually 1 colorless and 1 white. So it's actually pretty damn good. That's a solid common. I can see that being used in a lot of aggressive white decks that spam creatures or tokens, things like that. That's a solid card. I'd say it's a good one. Dauntless Bodyguard is pretty interesting, actually. It's 1 white for a 2/1 creature. As Dauntless Bodyguard enters the battlefield, choose another creature you control. Sacrifice Dauntless Bodyguard, and the chosen creature gains indestructible until end of turn. And now that's interesting because for all intents and purposes, he basically gives somebody a little kind of mini pseudo hexproof, because most spells that are going to target something are trying to destroy it. Barring like exiling it or something, Dauntless Bodyguard is essentially a protection spell on layaway. You can just fire him off whenever you want. They have to get rid of him before they are going to get rid of the other person. Solid for a single white. Yeah, that's really solid. Good uncommon. Let's see here. Healing Grace. 1 white mana, instant speed. Prevent the next 3 damage that will be dealt to any target this turn by a source of your choice. You gain 3 life. If it didn't say you gain 3 life, it probably wouldn't be worth it because it's an extremely specific and situational card. But for 1 mana, a 3 health heal plus preventing 3 damage to some specific source could be useful. That's a really situational thing. It's so situational that it's a little hard to use, but it is a solid card. I will say it's good. Good white card. What else we got? Nothing on this page. Tragic Poet. 1 mana, 1/1. Tap and sacrifice Tragic Poet. Return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, that's a great white card. You get a junk filler creature and you can get an enchantment card back. It's essentially Black loves this kind of thing, so it's nice to see that effect in white, that you can get a spell back. They negated it, they naturalized it, or blew up one of those Thrashing Brontodons on it or something, and you just pop that right back in for 1 mana. You'd have to have him down, because he has to tap to do it, so. Yeah, another good card. White's getting a lot of good stuff here. Adamant Will. Now you're into the 1 mana and 1 white cost stuff here. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Yeah, that's a solid buff. 2 mana for +2/+2 and is indestructible. You could use that to save a creature from getting -2/-2'd into like 0 or something if they were valuable. You could save that through combat. You could throw like a good charging trample creature like Charging Monstrosaur or something in a red-white deck and put that on it after they declared all their blockers and just smash through them all and then deal some damage too, and keep the monster sword. Yeah, good card. Also good. Banalish Honor Guard. Now this is a classic card. This is a very old. This is a reprint, as I recall. I think Banalish Honor Guard was in one of the earliest sets, if not the original set. It's the 1 white. Gets +1/+0 for each legendary creature you control. It's what we call a bear in that it's a 2-mana 2/2. But it has an interesting buff to it. If you are playing a deck with a lot of legendary creatures, I could see Banalish Honor Guard being pretty solid. It's very situational. Again, I wouldn't probably use a lot of it myself, but it might be worth having 1 or 2 in a deck that's very focused on legendary creatures, which is possible to do. Board the Weatherlight. Sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a historic card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, if you're playing with the historic keyword, which I assume is the new thing in Dominaria. Oh, that's a legendary, artifact, or saga enchantment card. Okay, so that's any card that's legendary, an artifact, or one of those saga enchantments from this set. Okay, yeah, solid. It's just a find your cards card. You know, bog standard 2-mana find your cards card. Sorcery speed, it's fine. Gideon's Reproach. 2-mana instant, deals 4 damage to a target attacking or blocking creature. Yeah, good. I've seen like 3 damage, I think, in Ixalan has this card, but it's only 3 damage. So yeah, that's just a better version. It's solid. Good card. I can see that being used as a 2-mana removal spell, basically. Especially as a kill condition to like stop a blocking creature that's going to prevent fatal damage to the player or something. That could be really useful. It's an okay situational thing. Knight of Grace. First strike, hexproof from black. Knight of Grace gets +1/+0 as long as any player controls a black permanent. This is a absolutely baller card in your sideboard. If you're playing best of 3 with sideboards, then yeah, you could absolutely use this. This would be a great sideboard card. It's a little situational for regular use in like best of 1 or whatnot without a sideboard, but I could easily see white players running this as a sideboard card. It's a bear with first strike regardless. So, I mean, it does have some use regardless. But if they are running black, then yeah. Or if you're running white and black, you could use it that way too. But solid card. So far, there haven't been any really bad ones. Here's a 2-mana Knight of New Benalia 3/1. Ah, now that's one of those vanilla cards that just has no text, no special effects, but 3/1 for 2 mana can be useful. I'd say it's on the lower end, but yeah, you could find uses for that, especially if you buffed it a little bit. It would be a solid early game card. Mesa Unicorn. 2/2 creature unicorn with lifelink. Ah, now that's unfortunately not a horse, or it would be great with that 5/5 horse from Hour of Devastation. But yeah, anything that's a 2/2, it's a bear with lifelink. I mean, that's a solid 2-mana card. No problems there. I got no objections to that. I would run that in a... It's basically Bishop Soldier, but not a vampire if you're not doing vampires. So, yeah, not bad at all. Seal Away. I love the art on it. Flash. Okay, so you can cast that at instant speed. When Seal Away enters the battlefield, exile target tapped creature an opponent controls until Seal Away leaves the battlefield. That is cast out, but cheaper and more situational. So yes, cast out is great. A cheaper situational cast out is also great. And yeah, if you're curious, the white icon is common, the silver icon is uncommon, the gold icon is rare, and the deep, like, ruddy orange icon is mythic rare. So this is an uncommon. Not a bad one. I would say it's actually a pretty good one. Sarah Disciple, Bird Cleric. Flying in first strike whenever you cast a historic spell. That's a legendary artifact or saga enchantment. Then it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Again, it's a situational card. But it is a flying first strike creature, which is a huge pain in the ass to block. You need a beefier flyer than it to block it. And yeah, I could see it being useful. It would be good with all the other stuff that's been playing with the historic stuff. And for a common 2 mana, yeah, I consider it pretty good. Triumph of Gerard. This is a saga enchantment. So, as the saga enters, after your draw step, you add a lore counter, and each time you get one of those, it does a thing, and then at the end, it's destroyed. So, first phase is you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control with the greatest power. Second phase is you do it again. And the third phase, target creature you control with the greatest power gains flying, first strike, and lifelink until end of turn. Damn, that's a good uncommon. I could see that being one of those ones that you might want to consider countering, because that could really screw you over, especially when they get flying, first strike, and lifelink for a turn. That's nasty. I like that card. I consider that saga enchantment really cool. I like these saga enchantments as a concept. I think they're going to be fun. Okay. And yes, Saga's the new thing with Dominaria. That and the concept of historic cards. Banalish Marshal for 3 white mana. Ooh, you know he's going to be good if he costs 3 of the same color. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Okay, you got a 3/3 for 3 that's going to make everybody else +1/+1. Usually you see that on a multicolor card that gives a specific tribe. Like humans or merfolk or zombies or something. So, yeah, that is a hell of a rare. I would happily throw 2 of those in pretty much any white deck that's creature focused. That's a hell yeah right there. Damn. Danitha Capuchin, Paragon, Legendary Human Knight. First strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink are and equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Ooh, for an uncommon, that is phenomenally useful. Anything that's going to give you a mana discount is beautiful. If you're running auras and equipments, which you probably are because you're playing white, then a 2/2 first strike with Vigilance and Lifelink is phenomenally good. That's one of the better cards. That and Banalish Marshal are just incredibly great. I love both those. That's solid. Ooh, that's very solid. I would happily run one of those. Davenant Trapper, Human Archer. Whenever you cast a historic spell, tap target creature an opponent controls. Yeah. The historic's going to be a big thing in white. I can tell you right now, like a historic themed deck is going to be a white thing. And that's cool because that's how humans should kind of work, is like they have their culture and history and stuff. It gives them some definition as a tribe, which is cool because humans have always been kind of generic-y. 3/2 for 3. It's a decent body with a useful effect. I could see it being used, yeah. So far, no real tremendous duds, which is great. Did I miss one? Yeah, I did. Dub. Oh, I thought it said duh. It's duh. Dub. That's an aura enchantment. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2, has first strike, and is a knight in addition to its other types. Okay, the is a knight in addition to its other types makes this really fascinating. As a card, a 3 mana +2/+2 first strike enchantment is great. Okay, that's the kind of shit you throw on a flyer and ruin somebody's entire day. But also is a knight is interesting because if you have a knight-themed deck, you can kind of squeeze another creature into this with anything that's like a buff to knights and stuff, which we'll probably see some of. Dub's very cool. I like Dub. I think it's got a place in a lot of decks. I mean, if it didn't even have the is a knight, you're paying 3 mana for +2/+2 first strike. Like, yeah, there are creatures that are 2/2s with first strike that cost that anyway. That ain't bad at all. We got History of Benalia. Okay, so first and second phases are create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance And then its final phase is Knights you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. Solid for 3 mana. Really cool. You're creating 2 token creatures, 2/2s with Vigilance, and then they're going to become 4/3s for a turn at the end of that. Yeah, pretty nasty. Since you play this once, and then it does this for the 3 turns, you don't have to keep paying mana into it or anything, so that's really great. Mythic Rare, and it shows. That's a very powerful card. I think that's kind of creeping up on me just how good that is, actually. Invoke the Divine. Instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You gain 4 life. Usually destroy an artifact or enchantment is 1 color and 1 colorless. Tacking in 4 life for an additional colorless mana is a good deal. This is a great card. This is just a solid card all around. I think that's great. I think that'll see a lot of use. That's White's removal probably now. Excuse me, taking delicious drinks is hard on my voice. Pegasus Courser. You got 3 mana flying 1/3. Whenever it attacks, another target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. Ah, now that's nice. Especially if they're not blocking flyers very easily. You can just do this all day and pretty much freely get that going. Yeah. Solid. Solid in general. I like it. I think that's a good card. Sergeant at Arms. You got a 3 mana with a kicker. You can pay that extra kicker cost in addition. When Sergeant at Arms enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, you create 2 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. So, yeah, you pay essentially 6 mana for a 2/3 with 2 1/1s. It's decent. That's a little bit pricey. They're soldiers and not knights. Otherwise, he'd be amazing. But he's a soldier. He creates 2 soldiers when he comes down if you kick it. It's okay. It's not phenomenal. It's something that's decent. I could see it being used, but probably not in a lot of decks. If you want to just generate tokens, he's good. He's a token maker. Let's see here. Anything on this page? Nothing on this page. Aha! Bird Soldier. Aven Sentry with flying 3/2. Now, if you're doing a soldier synergy deck, and it seems like there's a lot that's more than just humans here, that's pretty good. You could see him buffed with the other guy and stuff. That's not bad. It's an okay card. Yeah, kickers basically, I drew this. I have way too much mana because it's late in the game. I want to get some extra effects. And yeah, 3/2 with flying for 4 mana. Little pricey, but not bad. Not great, not bad. He's an average card. Baird, Steward of Argiv. 4 mana for a legendary human soldier. With Vigilance, creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. Oh my god, that's actually pretty cool. I've never seen that effect before. A 2/4 for 4. He's solid. He's out of lightning bolting range. Yeah, they're gonna pay at least more than probably 4 mana to remove him. That's like a Piercing Blow or something to get rid of, or a Bombard, which is 4 or 5 mana, I think. Yeah, you know, destroy target creature for probably 3 mana. Yeah, he's something that's hard to remove and makes it very costly to actually attack the player or their planeswalker. Good planeswalker protection. Could make for very frustrating white decks to go up against. Call the Cavalry. 4 mana to create 2/2 white knight creature tokens with Vigilance. Yes! I love it. You play that during one of the turns where you're charging up that History of Benalia thing, and oh my god, you're starting to create some scary shit. I love it. That's really rad. That's a great card. Especially with all the knight synergy out there. Daring Archaeologist. You got 4 mana Human Artificer. Daring Archaeologist enters the battlefield. You may return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast a historic spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Daring Archaeologist. Ah, now that's nice. So you're getting an artifact back out of your graveyard, and when you play it, he's going to be a +1/+1 permanently. So, yeah, this is a solid thing. Very solid. Can get out of control pretty easily. For 4 mana, a 3/3 that gets you an artifact back. There's plenty of great artifacts that blow up when they're used. So, yeah, pretty great. I think that's an awesome card, actually. Quinde, Pride of Femeref. Human Knight, legendary. Double strike. Creatures you control with first strike have double strike. Oh, Lord, that's a good one. I like him. I mean, there's not much to say about him. He just makes all your first strike dudes into monsters. Double strike is devastating, and yeah, I would happily throw him in there. He's a little bit ridiculous, actually. On Sarah's Wings. Has great piece of art, first of all. Really love that one. 4 mana for a legendary aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature is legendary. Gets +1/+1 and has flying, vigilance, and lifelink. For 4 mana, a +1/+1 is not great. I would like it to be +2/+2, but the fact that it gets flying, vigilance, and lifelink and becomes legendary is actually pretty cool. Legendary is kind of a double-edged sword there, because you can't have 2 of that creature down then. Or could you? Could you actually have, like, if you played, like, say, a Paladin of the Bloodstained who's not legendary, buffed him with that, and then played another Paladin of the Bloodstained, you'd have a legendary one and a non-legendary one, so I think it would be okay. You just couldn't buff the same creature 2 copies with that. So actually, that's not a problem at all. I think that's really good. That's a good card. Yeah, that's solid for 4 mana. Sanctum Spirit. 4 mana, 3/2 is not good on paper, but he does have lifelink. Discard a historic card. Sanctum Spirit gains indestructible until end of turn. That seems okay. It runs into the Adanto Vanguard effect, where you can really screw yourself if you're obsessed with keeping this thing too long. But unlike Adanto Vanguard, they have lifelink, which is a nice little buff. They're a little sturdier. 3/2. I'm going to say it's on the fence. I'm on the fence on whether this is a good card or not. I think it's okay. It's a spirit. You're not going to see a lot of synergies with that. But it looks... yeah, I'm on the fence on that. That's one that may be a controversial decision on my part, but I'm on the fence if that's good or bad. Shalai, Voice of Plenty. Legendary creature. Angel. You, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control have hexproof. It also flies, and you can pay 6 mana with 2 green to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. This is absolutely game-breakingly disgusting. Giving everything you control hexproof is outrageous. I am... holy shit. Also, first of all, that's going in my cat deck, like, today, yesterday. That's going in my cat deck, because that's white-green, and I want to put +1/+1 counters on shit. She's... holy shit, that may be the best card to come out so far. In fact, I'm going to say, yeah, that's ridiculously good. Holy shit, for 4 mana, that's just nasty. And it's only a rare. That should be a mythic rare. Holy shit. I gotta take a drink, hang on. God damn, man, that's crazy. Alright, next up. Jesus. Yeah, at least it doesn't have hexproof. I mean, God, that's a removal spell waiting to happen. Tashar's Ancestor's Apostle. Bird Cleric, legendary. Flying. Whenever you cast a historic spell, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ah, now if that was just to your hand, it would be good. If it's to the battlefield, that's fantastic. That is an awesome card. It's not anything on par with Shalai back there, but it's a great 4 mana card. Yeah, I could happily use that all day and not have any complaints. Blessed Light. Exile target creature or enchantment. That's a 5 mana. That's pricey, but I mean, you can't argue with the results. It's just exile target creature or enchantment. It takes care of business. It's a perfectly alright card. Let's see here. Excavation Elephant. I thought they said Evacuation Elephant. I was like, oh, you don't want that. It's a 5 mana with a 2 mana kicker. When Excavation Elephant enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. That is not bad on a 3/5 body. The fact that it has 5 health makes it... kicks it from... being meh to okay. 5 health body for that much mana with the kicker and getting an artifact card. Yeah, it's okay. That's an okay card. Lyra Dawnbringer, Legendary Angel. Flying, first strike and lifelink. Other angels you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. A 5 mana 5/5 with flying, first strike and lifelink alone is really good. The fact that it +1/+1s and lifelinks all your other angels makes it really, really good. That's a great mythic rare. I can see that happening all the time. That's going to be a commonly used card in angel decks. In fact, that should be the kind of card you build an angel deck around if you have it. Sarah Angel, a classic 4/4 flying vigilance for 5 mana. Now this is a classic original Magic the Gathering set card. That is very nice, and it would become 5/5 with lifelink if you have Lyra Dawnbringer down. So yeah, Sarah Angel was good when it came out. It's still good today. It's survived the test of time. That's a great card. It's an uncommon. You'll see a lot of it in white. You will see a significant number of these in white from now on. Urza's Ruinous Blast. Oh dear. That's a 5 mana legendary sorcery. Exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. So yours and the opponent's, anything that's not legendary or a land is leaving the board forever. Pretty wild, actually. Yeah, those heavily legendary themed decks are gonna abuse the hell out of that. Other decks, probably not gonna use it so much. You have many better options these days, like Settle the Wreckage and things like Hour of Revelation below that will take care of that business just fine and will work on legendaries as well. So this is a situational card that's going in those legendary white decks for sure, but probably not going to be used as your board wipe otherwise, because Settle the Wreckage is a thing and Slaughter the Strong is a thing and all that. Let's see here. Evra, Halcyon Witness. Really cool art. Legendary Avatar with lifelink. For 4 mana, you exchange your life total with Evra, Halcyon Witness's power. Oh my god, that's terrifying. If you're sure that you can survive or you've buffed her power sufficiently, she can easily become a creature with power in, like, the double digits there. And the fact that she has lifelink, if you're willing to gamble on her for a turn, like they're not going to just pulp you with a couple lightning bolts suddenly or something, you could... Let's say you had 10 life, she'd become a 10/4 and you'd be a 4 life. She'd attack that turn, and you'd get back 10 life, so you'd be back at 14. The next turn, you could make her a 14/4 and have 10 life. Yeah, she could get out of control. I think there's potential here. I think there's potential, especially if you play her and then, like, in the very late game, you play her, you use her ability, and then you heal with something. Because you're, like, 10 mana... total to do that, and then a couple heals. Yeah, it's got a use. It's a situational thing. I think there's decks that could be made around Evra, Halcyon Witness, but I think that she's too situational to be like a massive part of the meta or anything. But cool card. I want her because I want to make a deck around that. I think that would be a cool thing to try. It's very, very situational, though. Fall of the Thran. Okay, so we got a saga here. First thing that happens is all lands are destroyed. And the second and third things that happen is each player returns 2 land cards from their graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, this is a very situational card. However, because Settle the Wreckage exists, this card is nuts. You destroy all of the opponent's attacking creatures, they draw lands equal to the number of creatures destroyed, and play them immediately, and then you play this and destroy all the land. This could be really strong. This is one of those, like, I hate what you're doing, just fuck the whole game white cards. But comboed with stuff like Settle the Wreckage and a few other options, this is ludicrously powerful. If you don't care about your lands too much because you're behind or something, this could really keep you in the game. That could save your life. Yeah, that's pretty rad. I think that's more powerful than not, and I think I'll get flack for that in the comments or something, because I'm probably wrong about that, and it's probably terrible, but I think that's actually a great card. So that's what white brings to the table this time. We're into blue now. Arcane Flight. This is like my favorite piece of card art ever. I love this card art so much. This is my favorite card from the set just because of the card art. As a wizard saving his dumbass cat who jumped off a balcony to go pounce a bird. So we've got an aura enchant creature. It has +1/+1 and has flying. For 1 blue, that's actually really great. I could see 4 of that in a blue deck pretty handily, actually. Artificer's Assistant. Another great piece of art. Creature bird. Flying. Whenever you cast a historic spell, scry 1. It's a 1/1 flyer for 1 with a little scry ability. It's okay. It's an okay common. It's what I expect from common level power on a decent common. Also, I want to point out, things like this are better than they appear because you're looking at a 1/1 flyer, but there's spells like Curious Obsession that give a creature +1/+1, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. At the start of the game, nobody's going to block a 1/1 flyer. They don't have flying at the start of the game unless they're using this kind of stuff. So you can combo that into a lot of good stuff. It's better than it looks. Opt. Opt is just Opt from previous sets. It's scry 1, draw a card for 1. It's the bog standard blue card for 1 mana. Rescue. Instant. Return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. Oh, now this is fun. This is like an even better hexproof, basically, for a turn. Like, Dive Down is super cool. Dive Down is a commonly used version of this that's just creature has like +0/+3 and is hexproof for a turn. You just use this to grab somebody who's getting like nuked on a board clear, or to save an enchantment off somebody that's about to die, or to just save somebody from getting just destroyed in some way. It's very useful. It's actually super helpful. It doesn't look good on paper at first glance, but that's actually really, really useful for 1 blue mana, and is justifiable in any deck that is running even a little bit of blue, just to have some of these to save yourself from like lightning bolts and stuff. So that's great. I like that card a lot. Blink of an Eye, another great piece of art with a kicker. Okay, so it's 2 mana with a 2 mana kicker. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If this spell was kicked, draw a card. Yeah, that's good. 4 mana for draw a card and return a permanent to its owner's hand is pretty nice anyway. At instant speed. That's okay. Excuse me. I think it might be slightly pricey, but it's an okay card. We got Diligent Excavator here for 2 mana, Human Artificer. Whenever you cast a historical spell, target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. Ooh, that can get punishing pretty fast, actually. So, yeah, that's a good one for 2 mana. A 1/3 body for 2 mana is not bad either. They're going to take all those 2/2s to the face and not care. So that's pretty handy. That's definitely a control card. I would only see that going pretty control deep. Merfolk Trickster. Oh, it's nice to see more Merfolk after Ixalan. That's great. They got Flash. They're a Merfolk Wizard for 2 blue. When Merfolk Trickster enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. It loses all abilities until end of turn. Oh, that's really helpful. You can save yourself from a lot of nasty business with that. Even if it's a creature that's not attacking, you can play that as they're attacking with stuff and prevent, like, that Herald of Secret Streams from making all the creatures with counters on them unblockable, so you could block and swing the table around in your favor by killing a bunch of them that turn. Yeah, great card. Really good. I like the ability to lose all the abilities on a creature for a turn. Naban, Dean of Iteration. 2-mana legendary human wizard. Wizards, I notice, are definitely a thing in this set, which is to be expected because it's Dominaria. It's where Magic, like, the base game takes place, as I recall. If a wizard entering the battlefield under your control causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Ooh. Interesting card. It could be that they want us to make, like, a blue-red wizard deck, which would be fun. I think that would be nifty and fun to play. And so he contributes greatly to that. So I haven't seen a lot of them yet that will trigger that, but he's definitely going to make them powerful, because those kinds of abilities are strong. And he's only a 2-1, but, I mean, you're not fighting with him. You're using his ability. Probably the turn he comes down, too. A bunch of them. We got Relic Runner, Human Rogue, 2 mana. Can't be blocked if you've cast a Historic spell this turn. Let me think on that for a moment. I had to emergency mute there. Had a bit of a sneeze. It's a blue aggro card. That's really weird. Like, blue aggro? I mean, I guess it'd be good in a flyer deck and stuff as a supplement to those, but I mean, honestly, I'd just rather take a flyer. I'm gonna say it's not good. I'm gonna say it's not very good. It's just not super good. Blue aggro is not notorious for its incredible power either, so it's just like, it's a 2-1 for 2. You could get a 2-2 for that could be blocked, but is probably a little better. I mean, yeah, it's not great. I'm not impressed with it. Sage of Latnam. It's a 2-mana human 1-2. Sacrifice an artifact, draw a card. He's actually really rad for one reason, and that reason to me is that treasures exist. We're going to say that your pirate deck probably is going to run one of these guys. Maybe 2, because you want to draw some extra cards each turn, because you're generating treasures out the ass and you don't care much about the mana from them. You can instead turn them into card draw. That's powerful. He's actually really cool. I like him a lot. And I'm sure there'll be somebody eventually in the comments that's like, whoa, you think Relic Runner's bad, but Sage of Latnam is good? What are you talking about? I don't know. That's the thing about subjectiveness. Like, Magic is a very subjective game. It really depends on what you value and what you think is good in the game. So my opinion is certainly not the be-all, end-all. Tetsuko Umezawara, Fugitive. Got a human rogue for 2 mana, legendary. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. Huh. Now, I said that the Relic Runner was bad. I'm going to say that Tetsuko's actually fairly good, because she makes it so that you can use these people like the Dean of Iteration and this Sage of Latnam guy, and actually attack with them in addition to what you're doing with their abilities, because they can't be blocked. So they're just some extra damage. You're certainly not going to block with them because they're fragile, so she adds some value to your weaker creatures, which actually makes her pretty good. I would say she's good, and her value is kind of hidden, but she's useful. Did I miss one back there? No, I did not. Sworn Guardians from another set. Vodalian Arcanist, another merfolk. Okay. And it's a 2-mana 1/3, so it's an okay body. I like 1/3s better than 3/1s, and even better than 2/2s usually, because 2/2s are the common 2-drop, and this blocks it forever. It just constantly can block it. Let's see here. So we've got tap to add 1 colorless mana, spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell. Now, if they haven't done anything that turn, then that's pretty handy because you could use them to fire off some instants that you otherwise wouldn't be able to afford during the opponent's turn. They're essentially a 1/3 colorless land on layaway. They're not bad. They're not great. They're not bad. Academy Drake. Now we're into the 3-drops. This is a 4-mana kicker. It's flying 2/2. If Academy Drake was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. This is the kind of kicker card that I like. It becomes a 4/4 flyer for 7 mana, which is not terrible. It's good because you can play it in the early game for 3, or you can play it way later and still have a decent body. Good card. I can see that being used. I like it a lot. Befuddle. Target creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn and draw a card. It's okay. Kicker is, for those of you who are just joining and not familiar, kicker is you pay that much cost, and then the card is kicked. If you pay that cost as you cast the spell, then the card gets an additional effect. Kicker's an old thing. It's been around a long time, but it's not often that you see it. Give me 1 moment. Turn my fan on. I'm a little hot in here. There we go. Befuddle, I'm gonna say, is kind of meh. It's 3 mana for a -4/-0. You can use it to make a favorable trade, but realistically, drawing a card's worth about 1 mana, probably. Half a mana, maybe, like 1.5. The thing is, you're paying additional mana to make a favorable trade, and if you don't get, like, the sum total of that being the value of the creature you're trading to death, possibly, you didn't really get much out of it. So, Befuddle's not that great. Curator's Ward. And again, my opinions are just my opinions. But, blue is very tricky with that, because blue, you can do a million things in blue, so you never really know if it's super useful or not, it feels like. But I'm going to say Befuddle's not that great. Curator's Ward. Enchant Permanent. Enchanted Permanent has Hexproof. When Enchanted Permanent leaves the battlefield, if it was historic, draw 2 cards. This card is enchant that one goddamn angel from white, is what it is. But this is a great card, actually. Oh, an update is available. Please restart. I will do that later. This is actually great. Curator's Ward is good. It's an enchantment to add hexproof. You're going to have to cleanse the enchantment off of them if you want to do anything. You could target the enchantment. You just can't target them. Curator's Ward is great. I wish it weren't blue, because blue has enough hexproof counter spell bullcrap anyway. I wish this was green or black or white. Just give them something that can give them more hexproof. Okay, white doesn't need it because of that damn angel, but like, give this to green or black or something, man. Blue's got enough damn hexproof. Good card, though. Deep Freeze. An aura. I like the art on it. Very, very nice art. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness 0/4, has defender, loses all other abilities, and is a blue wall in addition to its other colors and types. This is a quaint little card. It just turns somebody into a wall. I like this card. I can see it being useful. They lose all of their abilities, so yeah, if you have something that's really annoying that you want to get rid of, you can pseudo get rid of it with this. If you have a weaker card that's used up its usefulness, you can cast this on it and get a wall, which is not bad, actually. For 3 mana, that's a decent spell. It can be used. Divination is a 3 mana, draw 2 cards. So, by that account, drawing a card is worth 1.5 mana, basically. It's perfectly fine. It's going to be in tons of blue decks, because it's a draw thing. It's nothing special to talk about. It's just a draw card. I haven't seen any Planeswalkers yet. A little surprised at that. A big gap of nothing there. Okay. Here we go. Tempest Djinn. Oh boy, it's one of those 3 of the same color mana guys. It's going to be strong. Flying. Tempest Djinn gets +1/+0 for each basic island you control. This is a baseline 0/4. Oh god, he's scary. That dude is scary. Wow. Mono blues are gonna love him as just a killer. Especially if you enchant him to make him hexproof. Then he'll be like a 14-4 that flies. Yeah, he's good. Nothing bad to say about him. He's actually like one of my favorite cards of all time, which is a black card called Nightmare that is a XX creature that's power and toughness is equal to the number of swamps you control, and also flies, I believe. It was a classic. That's one of my favorite cards, and this is just a take on it that I really love. So yeah, I like Tempest Jin. I think he's great. Temporal Machinations. Oh, that guy's fighting a Borg. Sorcery, return target creature to its owner's hand. If you control an artifact, draw a card. This combines rescue, basically. And if you control an artifact, you draw a card. So, yeah, it's just combining two effects into one. Unfortunately, it's a sorcery speed. It's not instant speed. If it was instant, it'd be awesome. I think it's actually not that good because returning a target's creature to its opponent's hand, that's just unsummon, basically. You don't use it that often. It's not great. It's okay card. Tolarian Scholars, 3 mana, 2/3. Yeah, he's alright. He's a very vanilla creature. He's slightly underpowered, actually, but he is a wizard, so could actually be useful in wizard-themed decks. He's actually slightly underpowered for his cost, though, so I don't know. He's not great on his own. You definitely need to do something with him. Unwind. Counter target non-creature spell. Untap up to 3 lands. Okay, so if you do this, it's essentially free. Wow, I hate this card. The more I look at this, the madder I get about it. It's good, it's just that I hate it because I hate counter spam, and this is very counter spam enabling. You play this, you counter a non-creature spell, you untap up to 3 lands, so you can continue to counter more shit that turn. God damn it, I hate that card, but it's good. It's undeniably a great card. And it's a common, so I'm going to see 4 of those in every blue deck for the rest of my life. Good card, just hate it. Wizard's Retort. The spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a wizard. Counter target spell. So essentially, it's a cheaper version of Cancel if you control a wizard. That's acceptable. It's still 2 blue for a counter spell. Counterspell was originally 2 blue, I believe, back in the day. Like, when it first came out, just Counterspell was 2 blue mana, and it was ridiculous. Let's see here. That's everything on this page. Oh. Homerid Explorer. Oh, I love him. He's a lobster man. When Homerid Explorer enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Ooh, he's a lobster man and he's kind of nasty. That's pretty good. Dump the top 4 cards of somebody's library into their graveyard and get a 3/3 body on top of it. Essentially, you're paying 3 mana for a 3/3 and then 1 more for making somebody discard 4 cards off their library. That's pretty good. He's really good. I could see a control-themed blue deck utilizing like 4 of him. Just for the pressure, that would be 16 cards taken away, and you'd have 3/3 bodies for each set of 4. Really great card. I might be wrong on this, but I'm thinking he's pretty awesome. I'd love to hear some of our regulars in the stream's opinion on that guy, because he seems pretty damn good. Narumeha, Master Wizard. Got 4 mana, 3/3 with Flash. When Narumeha, Master Wizard enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Other wizards you control get +1/+1. That's an amazing card. So you're going to duplicate one of your spells that you're casting, like, just as she's entering the battlefield. You cast the spell, then you... before it resolves, you cast her as well as a flash. and then you duplicate that and for free and create a new target for the copy if you want. Really great legendary, mythic, rare, and it shows. So there is a wizard theme too. I thought there's going to be a wizard theme somewhere in Dominaria. Precognition Field. Enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library. You may cast the top card of your library if it's an instant or sorcery card. Or you may pay 3 mana to exile the top card of your library. This is a actually really useful card. Because if you don't like what's coming, you can just exile it. It's like, I don't need another island, thanks, get out. I would instead like to just cast this instant or sorcery off the top of my library. Yeah, really good. Precognition Field is an enchantment that a lot of blue control-based decks and a lot of blue-black and blue-red decks will absolutely want to abuse the hell out of. Oh, we got the Antiquities War here. It's another saga. Okay, so for those of you who are new here, this enters the battlefield and you add 1 lore counter to it. After each draw step, you add a lore counter to it, and after lore 3 procs, you sacrifice it. It's gone. So you look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact card from among them and put it in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You do that for the first 2 sessions, and then finally, artifacts you control become artifact creatures with base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. That's really great. I'm gonna tell you what, I would run that in a pirate deck even if I didn't have any extra library or extra artifacts in my deck, because I would end up with like 12 5/5 treasure creatures for a turn, and that would just be devastating. That's got uses for pirates, that's got uses for just about any blue deck that uses artifacts at all. Time of Ice. Well, the Time of Ice was a couple expansions after the original set, as I recall. That was the Time of Ice. This one, the first 2 phases are tap a target creature an opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Time of Ice. And then finally, you return all tapped creatures to their owner's hands. Oof. That's certainly not the most powerful one we've seen, but I guarantee you that they ain't gonna attack you the turn before that resolves. So that's kind of cool. Because they don't want to lose their whole board back into their hand. That's pretty good, actually. I'm going to say that's a good one. Academy Journey Mage. Creature, human, wizard. Spell costs 1 less cast if you control a wizard, so it becomes a 4 mana 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. I guess you'd use it in a wizard deck. I would never see anybody using this otherwise. It's not really an amazing card. It's a bounce on a 3/2 body for 4 or 5 mana. Yes, to answer your question, Genty, you would still be able to get a treasure victory if your treasures are creatures. They retain all their abilities. Cloud Reader Sphinx. We got a 5 mana Sphinx with flying. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. It's 3/4. I think there's a lot of better options for blue than a 3/4 flyer for 5 mana. I mean, blue has got shit like that damn Sphinx that can't be the target of spells or abilities, but like twice to hit it, and is like a 5/3 with flying and embalms. It's like, screw this. You got way better options. Yeah, Glyph Keeper. Like, would you rather use this for 5 mana, scry 2, or would you rather have this for 5 mana with flying again and the ability to embalm it and get it back a second go? Like, this is vastly superior. However, do note, this is a common as opposed to a rare. So you might not have much choice. You just might not have it. But for what it is, it's not amazing. It's an okay common. It'd be great in Pauper deck. Sentinel of the Pearl Trident. Ah, another cool merfolk. It's got flash. It's 5 mana 3/3, so better do something good. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile target historic permanent you control. If you do, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. That's actually really great. You could use that to abuse those sagas and proc their first 2 effects again before they're destroyed. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, I can see that being used. the Mirari Conjecture. So first phase, return target instant card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Second phase, return target sorcery card. Third phase, until end of turn, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. That is a deeply frustrating card in a control deck. It will be very powerful. It will be used in every control deck because of how incredibly frustrating it will be to play against. Let me just get back all those cancels and annoying sorceries that are drawing me like 4 cards this turn, and then I'm gonna do it over and over again. Oh, God. Weight of Memory. Speaking of annoying sorceries, draw 3 cards. Target player puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. Whew. That's another one of those pressure cards in blue. Blue's kind of creeping up on black in the making people discard their library territory, I noticed. But blue does everything anyway, so who cares? If you can't tell, I'm not a fan of blue's power level. Okay, so here's one I like, actually. This is 6 mana, 4/5 with hexproof. That's a good blue card for a common. Could certainly see that getting used a lot. That's pretty cool. I think it's a great common. It's a decent card, but great common. In Bolus's Clutches. Enchant permanent. You control enchanted permanent. Enchanted permanent is legendary. Ugh. I'm glad that's a legendary enchantment, because that would be just completely overpowered otherwise. It's only an uncommon, too, which is kind of alarming. That's very good. I'm not happy it exists, but it's very good. Karn's Temporal Sundering. That's a really cool card art. I like that. Legendary Sorcery. Target player takes an extra turn after this one. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Exile Karn's Temporal Sundering. Thank God you have to exile it. Oh, God. Target player takes an extra turn is one of those win the game spells. God damn, blue got some ridiculous shit. Zahid, Djinn of the Lamp. Legendary creature, Djinn. You may pay a 3 colorless and a blue and tap an untapped artifact you control rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Flying. Really great. Great card. Flying 5/6 that you can pay a discount and tap an artifact for instead of paying for him, since he's fairly pricey. Yeah, if you pay his regular cost, he's good. If you pay the reduced cost, he's awesome. So yeah, great. Like him. A solid legendary creature. Slin Voda, the Rising Deep. This is a 8 mana, 2 mana kicker, and it's an 8/8 creature. Oh, God. When Slin Voda, the Rising Deep enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return all creatures to their owner's hands except for merfolk, krakens, leviathans, octopuses, and serpents. Thank God merfolk are still okay against blue. But, damn, that's pretty nasty. That's a solid beast right there. I mean, why wouldn't you pay the kicker, really? I mean, if you're playing something that's 8 mana, you've probably got 2 more at that point, so... That is a very... And yeah, this is an old school... Since it's Dominaria, which is the original Magic world, this is very old school Magic style stuff. There's some ridiculous shit in it. Syncopate. Instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it in its owner's graveyard. So you pay X to make them counter it for X cost. That's the kind of counter spell that I like, because it's probably going to burn your whole like set of mana for the turn, and you're not going to counter like 7 more cards that turn. And that's okay. Oh, we're into black now. Excuse me, emergency mute. Sneezy today. Sorry about that. Okay, we got an instant for 1 black mana. Target creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. If it's legendary, also gains lifelink until end of turn. Yeah, that's a great card. 1 mana for a +2/+1 for the turn? I mean, yeah, I'd pay 1 mana if it's +1/+1 and also got lifelink if it's legendary. That's great. That's a great 1 mana black. Demonic Vigor. Ah, yes. This is the kind of stuff I love. Enchant creature. It gets +1/+1. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to its owner's hand. Oh, that causes so much misery for creatures with just absolutely hellish enter the battlefield effects, like that Chupacabra that destroys a creature when you play it. You could Demonic Vigor this, and suddenly it's a 3/3 that they're never, ever going to want to kill. Divest. Great art. Target player reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. That player discards that card. Yeah, that's actually probably a better version of Duress from Ixalan, which is you choose a non-creature, non-land. It only gets spells. This gets creatures or artifacts instead. Plus, it's a 1-mana spell that you're going to play on turn 1 that's going to show you the opponent's entire opening hand. So, ooh, great card. Duress was amazing. Divest is even better, in my opinion, because you want to deal with that more often. Fungal Infection. I love the art. That Treant is very unhappy about his fungus. It's like, oh, no. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. That is a great early game screw up the 1 health enemy that they played and get a 1/1 token out of it. Good value for what it does. Yeah, just a good card. Pretty good. I could see somebody running 1 or 2 of that. Stronghold Confessor, Human Cleric. I thought he was Vampire for a minute. He looks like the bad guy from the Mad Max reboot. He's got a 3-cost kicker with Menace. Strong Confessor was kicked. It enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters. So it's a 3/3 with Menace for 4 mana. That's actually pretty nice. Menace is worth some extra mana. Yeah, all told, that's a pretty great card. It's not amazing, but it's good. Cabal Evangel. This is your Black Bear. It's a 2-mana 2/2 with no text. Black Bear. Nothing to say about it. Caligo Skin Witch. Oh, God, this is going to be a crazy one. It's a 2-mana with a 4-mana kicker. When Caligo Skin Witch enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, each opponent discards 2 cards. Is that good? Well, they're discarding from their hand, so yes, that actually is pretty good. That's pretty good for a late game thing to do. Cast down. Destroy target non-legendary creature. Ooh. Well, there used to be a 2 black mana walk the plank, destroy target non-merfolk creature, so this is probably more useful. That's pretty good. 2 mana to destroy a not legendary creature is a good deal. That gives it, it's not completely worthless against a merfolk deck, which is nice. Knight of Malice. 2 mana human knight. He looks cool. First strike, hexproof from white. Knight of Malice gets +1/+0 as long as any player controls a white permanent. It's the black version of the white one. Right down to the exact opposites. That's good. I always love the classic white and black oppose each other thing. That's pretty nice. Knight of Malice is good. I can easily see this being a sideboard card if you get to play with sideboards. If not, it's still a 2/2 bear with first strike and hexproof from white. So, I mean, hey, it ain't bad. Rat Colony. Rat Colony gets +1/+0 for each other rat you control. A deck can have any number of cards named Rat Colony. Now this is a classic card, actually. This used to be a thing. You can have any number of this in your deck, and every one of them deals 1 more damage each time. It's still going to be a 1 health creature, no matter what you do, unless you have something to buff, say, Vanquisher's Banner that targets rat or something. Actually really awesome. You can build a deck around this thing. It's only 2 mana. There are decks I've seen that are just like 60 of this card. It gets a little silly. They become pretty dangerous. They're vulnerable to board removal, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see here. So I like Rat Calling, good card. Vicious Offering. Kicker, sacrifice a creature. So you don't pay mana for this, you sacrifice a creature if you pay the kicker. Otherwise, it's just a 2 mana. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, that creature gets -5/-5 until end of turn instead. This is a great card because it kills gods. All the gods in Amonkhet have, I believe, 5 toughness and are indestructible. There might be some that are slightly different on that, but I think they're all 5 toughness indestructible creatures. So you can use this to pay 2 mana and sacrifice some piece of shit 1-drop or something and just kill them because they become a 0/0 creature and can't survive even with indestructible. Really useful. This is Moment of Craving, I think? Let me see here. I think it's back. Yeah, Moment of Craving, -2/-2, and you gain 2 life. Instead of the 2 life, you can sacrifice a creature and make it -5/-5. Moment of Craving is used in every black deck, practically. Vicious Offering will be used in them instead, I'm pretty damn sure. Really great card. Oh god, a Thalid! They're back! Okay, so Deathbloom Thalid. 3 mana, it's a fungus. When Deathbloom Thalid dies, create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. I can see Saprolings becoming a thing again. Oh god, there's a Thalid. They brought back Thalids. Cool. I love Thalid decks. So that's neat. That's a good card. Little stickiness. Dreadshade. 3 black mana to cast it. Oh god. Oh, wow. That's crazy good. Dreadshade, 3 mana, pay 1 black, and it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Here's the thing. You don't have to tap him or tap something or pay any cost, so you can just keep doing that over and over in the same turn. He essentially gets buffed to the point of your total swamp, if you want. He's basically a nightmare. He's... holy shit, he's strong. I like him. Drudge Sentinel. Ah. Oh, they brought back Drudge Skeletons in a way. So he's a 3 mana skeleton warrior. Sorry. Pay 3 mana and tap Drudge Sentinel. It gains indestructible until end of turn. So he can't be destroyed essentially outside of combat. Or no, well, I guess you could. If he was already, it doesn't say he has to be tapped, so he could already be tapped. You just tap him again. So yeah, he could come back. He's an annoying asshole that you can't get rid of if they're willing to keep mana in reserve to keep him alive, basically. For a 2/1, especially if you're buffing skeletons or something, he's a pain in the ass. Yes, that Shades effect is an instant. You can save him from blocks. You can, you can do all kinds of stuff with that. That's instant speed. Yeah, he's nasty business. Let's see here. And no, they didn't do it with the tap symbol. I think if you have the tap symbol, they have to be tapped. They have to be untapped to do it. In this case, he could already be tapped, and the tap effect would still affect him. So in this case, he's just a little different. He works differently. Let's see here. What else is there? Soul Salvage. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. For 3 mana, yeah, that's a good deal. You're going to see a bunch of that. There's a 1 mana version of that that only affects pirates that's used in every pirate deck. This will be used all the damn time. He's great. Black will love that. Chainer's Torment. So first phase and second phase of this saga is deal 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Oh dear. And then the third phase is create an XX Black Nightmare Horror Creature token where X is half your life total rounded up. It deals X damage to you. That could be immensely powerful or murder you. That is one of the more average sagas that's in this set, in my opinion, so far. Dark Bargain. Instant. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 2 of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Dark Bargain deals 2 damage to you. Yeah, that's pretty good. For 4 mana, that's a pretty good black spell. I'd use that. It's something that you won't see all the time, but it's something you'll see. Eviscerate. Destroy target creature for 4 mana. Yeah, not bad. I think Impale was 5 mana and did that, so yeah, that's a pretty good deal. Yeah. Oh, no, Impale was 2 black and 2 colors instead of 1 black and 3 colorless. Not bad. Okay, Josu Ves, Lich Knight. Legendary Zombie Knight. He's got a massive kicker, so he's 4 mana on his own. Another 6 for the kicker. With Menace, he's a 4/5. When Josephus Lich Knight enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create 8 2/2 black Zombie Knight creature tokens with Menace. Holy shit! Did I skip something? Hang on. What said I? Oh, Cabal Paladin. Whenever you cast a Historic spell, Cabal Paladin deals 2 damage to each opponent. Decent card. Yeah, decent. Not amazing, but decent. This motherfucker is a game winner. If you have enough mana to pay his kicker cost, you probably won the game. You're looking at a 4/5 and 8 2/2s with Menace on the board. You can probably win that trade out. That's devastating, especially if you're running a white-black Knight deck and using both the Black Knight and the White Knight and all those Knight buffs and all that crazy shit. If you timed him to come down with the Knights getting the +2/+1 in first strike, they'd crush everything. This guy's awesome. He's really cool. He's one of my favorite cards from this set now. He just won a place in a deck for me. There's a deck built around this. There's a black-white Knight deck somewhere begging to be made, and I want to make it. Phyrexian Scriptures. Menace means you have to block him with 2 or more creatures. You can't block him with a single creature. So this saga, first phase is put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. That creature becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. Second phase is destroy all non-artifact creatures. Third phase is exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards. Jesus. This is an exceptionally hateful saga. Wow. So first, you buff a guy, and he's now an artifact. Second phase is all non-artifact creatures on the board are destroyed. Third phase is all the opponent's graveyard is exiled. So this is just the most dickish saga yet, I think. It's a mythic rare and it shows. That's a game winner right there. Oh god, that's a fun one. I love that card. That's extremely Phyrexian. It's asshole-ish. Rite of Belzenlach. Alright, so first phase is create 2 0/1 black cleric creature tokens. And then the third phase is create a 6/6 black demon creature token with flying trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice another creature. If you can't, this creature deals 6 damage to you. So you're summoning a demon, basically, and you're creating some fodder to sacrifice to it to keep it from killing you while it kicks the opponent's ass. Flying trample 6/6 is devastating. That's pretty good. I could easily see that just being thrown in any black deck, honestly, because you could really make use of that. Unless they blow up your clerics, yeah, you're gonna fuck their life up. Yeah, basically you create a Lord of the Pit, and you get to create fodder for him. Settle the score. Exile target creature, put 2 loyalty counters on a planeswalker you control. That's pretty good. For 4 mana, exiling a target creature and getting some loyalty on a planeswalker. Situational, but very worth it in that situation. Solid uncommon. Good as any card, great as an uncommon. Thalid Omnivore. Sacrifice another creature, you pay 1 mana. This is a 4-drop, 3/3. Pay 1 mana, sacrifice another creature. Thalid Omnivore gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If a sapling was sacrificed this way, you gain 2 life. Ah. Ooh, okay. Ooh, that's pretty evil, actually, especially since we've seen a bunch of fungal-related things that are creating saplings for you. So you're using them as fodder for your Thalids to do stuff. Pretty keen. Thalid Soothsayer. Pay 2 mana and sacrifice a creature, draw a card. Ah. Okay, I'm starting to see how this black-green Thalid deck is gonna go. There is a Thalid in in black that creates saprolings, and there's also a one black mana spell earlier that makes a saproling and -1/-1 a creature until end of turn. So yeah, there's some pretty good shit going on with that. Thala decks are coming back, guys. That's gonna be fun because that was what I used to play a lot. Whisper, Blood Liturgist, legendary human cleric. Tap and sacrifice 2 creatures to return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Boy, in a token-generating deck, that's gonna be nasty. Returning it to the battlefield, so... And yes, there is still that Dryad that makes a saproling. Well, there is a Dryad in green right now in Standard that makes a saproling every upkeep, yours and the opponent's. There's also a green dinosaur that generates a saproling every time it takes damage, so... Yeah, there's a lot going on with that shit. Also, Whisper, very good. There's decks where he would be super devastating in. Because you're bringing him back to the table, not to your hand. Very, very dangerous. Final Parting. Okay. Sorcery. It's a 5-mana sorcery. Search your library for 2 cards, put one in your hand and the other in your graveyard, then shuffle your library. Oh, damn! Search your library for 2 cards. So pick, like, a land that you don't want, and then pick a card that you really want from your whole deck. Ooh, that is nasty. Very nasty. Okay. The Eldest Reborn. First phase is each opponent sacrifices a creature or a planeswalker. Each opponent discards a card in the second phase. And yeah, you could combo that off Whisper. That would be nasty. And the third phase is put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Oh no! That says from a graveyard. So you can... Oh damn, you can get an opponent's creature or planeswalker with that. That's wicked. That does nothing bad to you, only to the opponent. You sacrifice a creature, or the opponent has to sacrifice a creature, then they have to discard a card, and then you put a creature or planeswalker from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Very fucking nice for 5 mana. I would expect to pay a lot more to do that. Oh, here's one with some art that I adore. Yargul, Glutton of Urborg. Legendary creature Frog Spirit, a 9/3 for 5. Is actually not bad. And then Yawgmoth's Vile Offering, a 5-mana legendary sorcery. Remember, you can only cast legendary sorceries if you control a legendary creature or a planeswalker. So, put up to 1 target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker, and then exile Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. Ooh. If that happened in reverse order, it'd be horrifying, but it's just really good in this version. That's good. Yeah, I like that. Demon Lord Belzenlock. 6/6 Flying Trample. When he enters the battlefield, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card, then put that card into your hand. If the card's converted mana cost is 4 or greater, repeat this process. Demon Lord Belzenlock deals 1 damage to you for each card put into your hand this way. Ooh. Okay, so this is like the ultimate in how black works to me. You gamble on getting some tremendous power with Demon Lord Belzenlock, and you exile a crap ton of lands, potentially. He can absolutely screw you, or he can win you the game by drawing you a shit ton of cards that are very good. So, yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, he's a big payoff if he pays off. Feral Abomination. A Thrall. Oh god, Thralls. A 5/5 with Death Touch for 6 mana is not bad. He is guaranteed to ruin something's day. There's better options. Death Touch on a huge creature is not as valuable, in my opinion, as Death Touch on a tiny creature. So there's that, but he's not bad. Okay, so Legendary Enchantment. Hexproof. You can't lose the game. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you lost, exile a permanent you control or a card from your hand or graveyard. When Lich's Mastery leaves the battlefield, lose the game. That is a really fun black card. That is the epitome of how black should work to me. That's a 6 mana. You pay 3 black for it outright. It's very but in a deck that's stuff like the Thalids, that's actually really powerful. Because you can exile from your permanents you control, so you can exile like garbage tokens. You can exile from your hand, or you can exile from your graveyard. So graveyard's okay. And then eventually you just get beat down until you have nothing left to sacrifice, and you have to sacrifice it, and you lose the game. Otherwise, yeah, I actually think that's a good card. I think that's a pretty solid card. It's got some interesting options. There's decks around that could be pretty fun to play with and very difficult to stop. But because it is hexproof, it is good. If it wasn't hexproof, it would be terrible, because it's like, oh, I'm just gonna remove that. You lose the game. Lingering Phantom. This is a 6 mana 5/4 spirit. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you may pay 1 black. If you do, return Lingering Phantom from your graveyard to your hand. He's kind of good. He's not super great, but he's kind of good. I could see him getting used. And yeah, Tranquility would kind of fuck your life. That's a very true comment. Urgoros, the Empty One. Legendary creature Spectre. Flying. Whenever Urgoros, the Empty One, deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random. If the player can't, you draw a card. Huh. Well, because he's flying, he's pretty good. I'd say he's actually pretty solid. He's a solid legendary. For being an uncommon, yeah, he gets the job done. He does some pretty cool shit. The fact that it's discard at random is actually great, by the way. They don't get to pick. They just have to randomly discard. Khazarov, Singer Pureblood. Oh, it's a Singer vampire. Cool. So he's a legendary 7 mana flyer, 4/4. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on Khazarov. Ooh. That's pretty good, actually. And then pay 3 and a red to deal 2 damage to target creature. In a red-black deck, that means he can just damage creatures as he wishes to buff himself, and that's pretty scary. He gets out of control. That's pretty good. For a rare, yeah, he's what I'd expect for... He's basically a Singer vampire with some extra abilities. Pretty cool. Torgar, Famine Incarnate. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. So if you sacrificed like 3 little tokens or something, he'd be a 2 black 7/6. When Torgar, Famine Incarnate enters the battlefield, up to 1 target player's life total becomes half their starting life total rounded down. Oh dear. Hello, black aggro. Damn, that's actually really great. You could play some crazy shit with black aggro. Black aggro's not a common thing, so that's kind of cool. I like him. Solid card. One of the more interesting ones in black there. And we are into red. We just got red, green, and then the weird color stuff. Fervent Strike. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike and haste until end of turn. Very nice. Great card. Always a good thing. Gitu Lava Runner. As long as there are 2 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard, Gitu Lava Runner gets +1/+0 and has haste. That becomes a 2/2 with haste. Yeah, you could reset yourself to 10 with him, so that's actually a good option too. Another wizard, by the way, so there's definitely some wizard stuff going on in Dominaria, which is cool. Wizard Tribal is a thing that has not happened, and I'm excited for it. Shivan Fire. Instant. 1 red with a kicker of 4. Shivan Fire deals 2 damage to target creature. If the spell is kicked, it deals 4 damage to that creature instead. That's okay. I would really, really rather have Magma Spray, honestly. I mean, let's look at this compared to Magma Spray. It's potentially a 5 mana 4 damage target creature or a 1 mana 2 damage. Magma Spray is 2 damage to target creature. If that creature would die, exile it instead. It's like, that's just... Magma Spray is just more useful. Like, it doesn't have the kicker option, but the kicker's a little pricey for what you get. Shivan Fire's kind of bad, in my opinion. Skirk Prospector. Sacrifice a goblin, add 1 red. Ah, this is a friend to aggro decks. Goblin aggro decks are probably coming back. You can destroy your own goblins and just get more red mana to make a bigger thing earlier in the game. Warlord's Fury. Creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn, draw a card. That is really damn good for 1 red mana. In fact, that's one of the better red cards I've seen in Standard right now. For 1 mana, giving all your guys first strike and drawing a card is a good deal. For 1 red mana, drawing a card is a good deal. If it didn't have anything else, that would get used. Opt is a blue card that gives you scry 1, draw a card, and costs more than that. It's just like, damn, man. Warlord's Fury is really solid. That's a great one. Bloodstone Goblin. 2 mana Goblin. Goblin Warrior, actually. Whenever you cast a spell, if that spell was kicked, Bloodstone Goblin gains +1/+1 and menace until end of turn. It's okay. He's okay. He's nothing super amazing. He's playing around with the kickers. Champion of the Flame, Human Warrior. Gets +2/+2 for each aura and equipment attached to it. Ah, now here's one of those I'm gonna stake everything on a guy cards. It's like, you're gonna make this Champion of the Flame into a devastating monster, and then you're gonna cry because he's gonna get sent back to your hand and all that shit's gonna go away. But if you could make him hexproof, he becomes one of the most terrifying guys Red has, frankly. As he's gonna have like 1 million different abilities, plus he's gonna be like a 20/20 creature. It's just gonna ruin your fucking life. If they can't remove Champion of the Flame, you're gonna win the game, just outright. Basically, that's the deal. If they can't remove Champion of the Flame, this card may as well say, if opponent can't remove Champion of the Flame within like 5 turns, you win the game. Yeah, if you can get that blue hexproof enchantment on him, he's a god. But yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. And yeah, you could actually make a red and green Jackal deck, probably. Actually, there's some white and black Jackals, too. So you could make a Jackal tribal deck. And you got great shit like Earthshaker Kenra in it. Frenzied Rage. 2 mana enchantment. Enchantment, aura, enchant creature gets +2/+1 and has menace. Yeah, that's a steal. +2/+1 for 2 mana is a good deal. Giving him menace is even better. Especially when you consider giving that crazy murder man menace. He has trample and menace. He's gonna just maul 2 creatures each turn at minimum. Because they're gonna have to block this dude. No, you could put Hexproof on it. Hexproof only affects enemy spells. You can still buff Hexproof creatures with no issue. It doesn't affect your spells. G2 Chronicler. There's a 2 mana with a 4 mana kicker. And he's a wizard. When G2 Chronicler enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target or instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh. Okay, so this is a 2 mana body, which is decent. Yeah. And has an interesting kicker ability for later in the game. This is actually great because by the time you could pay his kicker, you would want to. You wouldn't ever want to pay his kicker early in the game because you haven't used your good instants and sorceries. You're going to want to get back your lightning bolts with him later. So he's pretty good. Keldon Warcallers, Human Warrior. Whenever Keldon Warcaller attacks, put a lore counter on target saga you control. There's an interesting one. Ooh, I like them. They're kind of useful. Kind of useful. They're very situational, but useful in their situation. I would consider them a mediocre card. Very situational. Orcish Vandal. Now here comes the horrifying addition to pirate treasure decks. 2 mana, 1/1 Orc Warrior. You tap him and sacrifice an artifact to deal 2 damage to any target. You use this guy to throw your treasures at people for 2 damage. This is going to show up in red pirate aggro so damn hard and fast. Oh, God, he's going to be nasty. Run amok. Target attacking creature gets +3/+3 and trample until end of turn. For 2 mana, that's a great one. Especially if you consider the fact that you can cast that at instant speed, which means you can cast it after blockers are declared. So you'll get a guy who's going to win the block, kill the creature that he otherwise wouldn't have killed probably, live, and then deal trample damage up onto the player. This existing means you have to always second guess against red. Are they going to play this? Do I need to overcommit to blocks? Which can screw you over and lose you the game anyway against red. So, very nasty instant. Great card. One of the nicer things red's got. The Flame of Keld. Alright. First phase, discard your hand. Second phase, draw 2 cards. Third phase, if a red source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player this turn, it deals that much damage +2 to that permanent or player instead. This is a very good card when your hand is nearly empty. Very good. You're paying 2 mana for this damn thing, first of all. So if it's the last card in your hand, you paid 2 mana. The next turn, you draw 3 cards, because it happens on your draw phase. And then the turn after that, every red source you control dealing damage deals +2. Ooh. Very nasty. Very nasty. Okay. Fight with Fire. Got a 3 mana job here. With an 8 mana kicker total. No, it'd be 9 mana with the kicker. Fight with Fire deals 5 damage to target creature. If the spell was kicked, it deals 10 damage divided as you choose among any number of targets instead. Oh God, that's nasty. That's very nasty. I like that one a lot. And that's one of those spread your damage around how you like it in the late game, which is very handy for cleansing all the little crappy creatures off the board. Oh my God, I just thought about using this in a dinosaur deck with Enrage too. Any number of targets. It doesn't have to be enemy. You could just proc all your dinosaurs. Oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. And yeah, you're paying 3 mana to deal 5 damage to a target creature. First of all, that's incredibly valuable deal for what you're paying. Why would you ever use that other Shivan Fire card then? If this exists and is only an uncommon. This is ridiculously great. I'm putting one of those in my dinosaur deck for sure. Oh, Gitu Pizza Mage here. Hurling a nice hot slice of pizza at you. When Gitu Pizza Mage enters the battlefield, if you control another wizard, Gitu Pizza Mage deals 2 damage to each opponent. I've bit into some... Oh yeah, it's instant versus sorcery speed, which is why that exists. It's still terrible though. So it's like Gitu Journey Mage. Okay, yeah, I've bitten into hot pizza, so I can understand the 2 damage. Yeah, not bad. A 3/2 that's gonna probably proc 2 damage on the opponent for 3 mana. Good card. Goblin Chair Whirler or a Chain Whirler. I was gonna say that sounds awesome. A Chair Whirler. Okay, so first strike, when he enters the battlefield, 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. For a 3 mana 3/3 with first strike, enters the battlefield and deals 1 damage to every evil thing on the board. Yeah, pretty good. The fact that it even hits the planeswalker is really nice. He's okay. I consider him good. He's good for what he does. He's certainly not on par with the black, blue, or white versions of the triple cost guys, but he's pretty good. Goblin War Chief. Oh boy, here's a nice one. Yeah, he's gonna bounce all the time. I can bounce him in and out of the game. Goblin War Chief. For 3 mana, you get goblin spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and goblins you control have haste. He will be a pain in the ass, especially with guys like the Goblin Chain Whirler there coming in and then smacking with a first strike haste and then probably getting unsummoned and brought back. Very irritating to fight. He's going to go in every Goblin deck. Keldon Overseer. Creature, Human Warrior. He's a 3 mana with an additional 4 kicker. He has haste. He's a 3/1. When he enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, gain control of target creature until end of turn, untap that creature and it gains haste. Ah, you get to steal a creature for a turn and use them for an attack. That's really good, because there's cards that cost like 4 or so mana that do that for a turn, and if you pay his cost in the kicker, you're just combining 2 cards of value into something. That's pretty good. He's a good card. Pyromantic Pilgrim is a 3/1 haste. He's exactly what I expect out of red. A 3 mana 3/1 with haste. Yeah. He's bog standard kind of red thing. He's okay. He's a common and it shows. He's an okay card. He's good for a common. Pauper decks would love him. Squee the Immortal. This is a 2/1 Goblin. You may cast Squee the Immortal from your graveyard or from exile. Wow, he's cool. I like him. So he's never going away, huh? Wow, there is no way to get rid of him. You could cast him from exile. Yeah, you can't even exile him to get rid of him. Damn. He's pretty cool. For a 2/1, he's actually quite fun. You can't get rid of Squee. That's cool. I like him. The First Eruption. Ah, everybody remembers their first eruption, pretty sure. Okay, so as this saga enters, and after you draw, yeah. Okay, first phase, deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. Oh my god, it's going in my dinosaur deck. Second phase, add 2 red mana. Third phase, sacrifice a mountain. If you do, first eruption deals 3 damage to each creature. This is going so hard into my dinosaur enraged deck that you don't even know. Oh. God, it's going in there. Like, multiple copies are going in there. That's so fucking great. I can see that being used for other purposes, but, like, as soon as I look at it, I immediately think, enrage. Proc your enrages while also screwing up the opponent. Super awesome. Valduk, Keeper of the Flame. Human Shaman. Legendary. 3 mana, 3/2 creature. Beginning of combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to Valduk, Keeper of the Flame, create a 3/1 red elemental creature token with trample and haste. Exile those tokens at the beginning of the next end step. That is really good. That is really good. Wow. I like him. Yeah, I definitely want to use him. Wizard's Lightning. Ah, it's Lightning Bolt, but costs 2 less to cast if you control a wizard. If you have a wizard, this is a 1 red mana Lightning Bolt. That is really awesome. I love that card. That's an exciting one for red. Let's see here. Goblin Barrage. Kicker. Sacrifice an artifact or goblin. See, Goblin Barrage deals 4 damage to target creature. If this spell is kicked, it also deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Yep, that's going in Goblin decks. Oh boy. That's going. Ooh, damn. That's a nice one. Lightning Bolt started costing like 2 or 3 after a while because of how ridiculously powerful it was. So that's basically a callback to the original Lightning Bolt. Well, the original Lightning Bolt still does, but most things that are Lightning Bolt analogs cost more nowadays. Karplusan Hound. Whenever Karplusan Hound attacks, if you control a Chandra Planeswalker, this creature deals 2 damage to any target. It's pretty average. I mean, if you got a Chandra Planeswalker, this is an auto-include like 4 of them in the deck. If you don't, this is a 4 mana 3/3 that you don't give a crap about, so, eh. Keldon Raider. Creature, Human Warrior, 4 mana. 4/3, when it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Yep, that's a good card. That's pretty okay. Pretty alright. Radiating Lightning. Deals 3 damage to target creature or target player and 1 damage to each creature that player controls. That is a good deal for 4 mana. That is essentially combining your Lightning Bolt with your Fiery Barrage or whatever into one spell. And because it's not those spells, you can still run 4 of those and 4 of that if you wanted. Rampaging Cyclops. 4/4 for 4. Gets -2/-0 as long as 2 or more creatures are blocking it. It's a decent common. You could get a 4/4 for 4 that would not have that downside, though, so he kind of sucks. Kind of sucks. Shame, because the concept is a neat idea. He just needs to be stronger. He needs to be like a 6/4, and then get that ability, and that would be cool. As he is, he's not very good, in my opinion. Seismic Shift. Destroy target land. Up to 2 target creatures can't block this turn. Boop. There's an aggro card. It even has, like, land screw. That's pretty good. Skizik. This is an elemental creature with a kicker of 1. Ah, I see. Trample and haste, 5/3. If it wasn't kicked, sacrifice at the beginning of the end step. Okay, I get you. So, yeah, that's actually good. It's basically a 5 mana, 5/3 with trample and haste. Pretty cool. We got Two-Headed Giant. Okay, so we got a 4 mana, 4/4 here. Whenever Two-Headed Giant attacks, flip 2 coins. If both coins come up heads, Two-Headed Giant gains double strike until end of turn. If both coins come up tails, Two-Headed Giant gains menace until end of turn. Why would you use the Cyclops if you have the Two-Headed Giant? Because he's a rare versus a common, yes, but it's like, Two-Headed Giant's actually really good. Varric's Bladewing. Ah, we have a dragon here with a 3 mana kicker. 4 mana dragon with a 3 mana kicker? Flying. Well, Varric's Bladewing enters the battlefield. If it was kicked, create Karok's Bladewing, a legendary 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. So if you pay a little less than its original cost in kicker, you get 2 4/4 flyings. That is going in a lot of red decks. That's a mythic rare, and that's why that's a mythic rare. Damn, that's a nice one. Ooh. He's pretty rad. Warcry Phoenix. A 2/2 with flying and haste. He's 4 mana, so his ability better be good, and it is. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may pay 2 colorless and 1 red. If you do, return Warcry Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield, tapped and attacking. This is a guy that you really need to exile because he becomes a huge problem all game long. Oh, I thought that was something. No, that's just an awesome looking card. Chandra's Outburst. Chandra's Outburst deals 4 damage to target player or planeswalker. Search your library and or graveyard for a card named Chandra, Bold Pyromancer, reveal it and put it in your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. If you're using Chandra, and if you have her, you probably should, she's going in your deck along with those hounds that deal extra damage, and you'll have a really powerful synergy. If not, you probably don't care. Slightly pricey, slightly better Lightning Bolt. Fiery Intervention. Choose 1. Deal 5 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. Choose 1 cards are inherently good because you get, a nice option. So, for 5 mana, 5 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact is a little expensive. But it's alright. I'm gonna say that's, it's a common. It's okay for a common. But it's not amazing. Fire Elemental is your classic 5/4 for 5 mana, no text. Fire Fist Adept. Human Wizard again, 5 mana, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to target creature an opponent controls, where X is the number of wizards you control. Well, he's an auto-include in that wizard tribal deck. Next up, we have our first Planeswalker. Jaya Ballard. Legendary Planeswalker. She costs 3 red and 2 colorless. She starts with 5 loyalty tokens. And you can gain 1 loyalty to add 3 red to your mana pool to cast instant or sorcery spells. Or you can gain 1 loyalty to discard up to 3 cards. You draw that many cards, or you can pay 8 loyalty off of her to get an emblem with you may cast instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard. If a card cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Yes, she has good art. Her effect is really nuts. That's going in every blue control deck. And a lot of red decks. A lot. But that's a blue control card if ever there was one, despite it being a red card. God, I hate her. Wow, her existence displeases me. That's going to be the first mythic rare a lot of people craft. In fact, I may just craft that right now, depending. I actually have a mythic rare wild card on hand. Siege Gang Commander. Ah, we got a goblin again. Whenever Siege Gang Commander enters the battlefield, create 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. Or you can pay 1 and a red to sacrifice a goblin and they deal 2 damage to any target. Very nice. Very nice. I like them. They're going in the goblin decks for sure. Let's see here. What else we got? Ah, another Chandra Bold Pyromancer. Ah, she's back. She sat out during Ixalan, but she's back, I see. Legendary Planeswalker Chandra. Okay, so tap or give her 1 loyalty and add 2 red mana. She deals 2 damage to target player. Very nice. Pay 3 loyalty and she deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Pay 7 and she deals 10 damage to target player and each creature and planeswalker they control. Honestly, I like her a little bit more than the other one, Jaya. Honestly, I could see her being used a lot more because I play a much more straightforward red. She is a straightforward red. Jaya is a control red. Essentially, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. I'm not a planeswalker expert, personally. I just throw them in because they're powerful. But I like her a little better. I could see a lot of use in her. I always like Chandra anyway, but... Haphazard Bombardment. I love the art on it. When Haphazard Bombardment enters the battlefield, choose 4 non-enchantment permanents you don't control and put an aim counter on each of them. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more permanents you don't control have aim counters on them, destroy one of those permanents at random. Okay, so you choose 4 targets that aren't enchantments, so lands or creatures basically, or artifacts, and then you randomly destroy 2 of them over the next 2 turns. That's a really fun card. I like that card a lot. That's really fun. You're just randomly flinging rocks until you break something. That's a really fun card. I love that. That's awesome. That's a fun one. Oh, God. I just can't stop saying that's fun because it's so fun. Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Oh, God. You pay X and 2 reds, and it deals X damage to each of up to 3 targets. Yep, that's a legendary rare sorcery, all right. God, that can kill an entire... Like, that can kill a player and the planeswalker, too. Damn. And on to green. Oh, yeah, 1 survives. You're right, it's 3 targets. Adventurous Impulse. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or land and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This is a very traditional green card. It's fine for what it does. Arbor Armament. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains reach until end of turn. The +1/+1 counter, however, is permanent. That's good. Good 1 green mana instant. Yeah, I like it. It's pretty rad. Let's see here. Ah, here's a classic. Llanowar Elves. 1 mana, 1/1 elf druid. Tap to add 1 green mana. That is a good card. Much like these 2, they are good cards. Llanowar Elves is a very good card, actually. For a single green, it's basically the equivalent of a lot of stuff that you pay like 2 or 3 mana to do. Let's see. Where's our next one? Ah, Ancient Animus. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If it's legendary, then it fights target creature and opponent controls. Oh, that's great. I love that card. That is Pounce, but honestly a little better. You're going to make your legendary better, and it's going to kill something of your choosing. Broken Bond. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. For 2 mana, that's a great one. That's a Eternalize with an added bonus, frankly. That's a better Eternalize, isn't it? Destroy target artifact or enchantment? I think so. Hang on, let me find Eternalize real quick. I'll come back. Naturalize is what I'm thinking of. Destroy target artifact or enchantment for 2 mana. Destroy target artifact or enchantment for 2 mana. Put a land card from your hand on the battle. Yeah, that's just better. That's a better Naturalize. Holy shit, I love it. Naturalize was great anyway. It's one of Green's better cards. Corrosive Ooze. 2 mana, 2/2. Ooze. Whenever Corrosive Ooze blocks or becomes blocked by an equipped creature, destroy all equipment attached to that creature at the end of combat. Ooh, that is a sideboard card, but it's a damn good sideboard card. This is basically how that works. Very good sideboard. Naturalize is an instant, but honestly, most of the time you're destroying stuff on your turn anyway. So I would rather just have Broken Bond like probably 4 out of 5 times. The speed differential does factor in, but Broken Bond's additional mana curve boost is just such a green thing that's very helpful. Elfheim Druid. Another Elf Druid. Ah, now here's a nasty business. It's a 0/2 creature for 2 mana. You can tap to add a green, or you can tap to add 2 green that can be spent only to kick. Pretty nasty. And here comes more of that Thalid combo shit with Fungal Plots. Enchantment. Pay 2 mana, 1 green, exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a 1/1 green sapperling. Sacrifice 2 sapperlings, and you gain 2 life and draw a card. Pretty rad. Gain 2 life and draw a card is not bad. Gaia's Blessing. Another sorcery for 2. Target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. Draw a card. When Gaia's Blessing is put into your graveyard from your library, shuffle your graveyard into your library. Pretty rad. For its cost, that's pretty rad. I like that a lot. Gift of Growth. 2 mana with a 2 mana kicker. Untap target creature. +2/+2 until end of turn. If the spell is kicked, it's +4/+4 instead. Great. Great instant common. That's the kind of thing that I love. That's just pretty solid in general. I mean, if you look at it, it's like they're both instants. Gift of Strength is a slightly cheaper version for slightly less, but the nice thing is this also untaps, which puts it above that, in my opinion. And Gift of Strength was a great card anyway. Doesn't give them trample, sadly, but pretty solid. There's plenty of creatures that could benefit from that. I could easily see throwing that Pride Sovereign in there, using his ability, then playing that on him to untap him and going at them with an attack. Be pretty rad. Let's see here. Llanowar Scout. Tap. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Oh, God. That's powerful. That's really powerful. I can see lots of that happening in big, stompy, like super stompy, incredible cost green decks. You can get so far ahead of somebody on mana that it is ridiculous with that. Oh, God, that's scary. Nature's Spiral. It's a nice 2 mana sorcery. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, Llanowar Scout is begging to get lightning bolted, basically. That is a lightning bolt removal card. It may as well say remove lightning bolt from the opponent's deck. Nature's Spiral is basically a black card in green form, and pretty nice. So, yeah, I got no objection. Nature's Spiral is something that I can see being used in a ton of green decks, getting back some of those big things. Or a key spell, or all kinds of stuff. Pierce the Sky. For 2 mana, you deal 7 damage to target creature with flying. Phenomenal sideboard card. Absolutely fantastic. Otherwise, too situational probably. You might not run up against any flyers in a deck, and it's useless there. Great sideboard card, though. Really great. Saproling Migration. 2 mana with a 4 mana kicker. Create 2 1/1 green Saproling creature tokens. If the spell was kicked, create 4 of them instead. That's good. That's really good. 6 mana to create 4 of those Saproling tokens, which you get to use for all kinds of shit, as we've ascertained. Very nice. Song of Freyalise. First and second phase are until your next turn, creatures you control gain tap, add 1 mana of any color. Ooh. Good combo with Saprolings and stuff. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible until end of turn. Very nice. Very nice. Song of Freyalise is a very powerful saga. Spore Crown Thalid. This is a 2 mana 2/2. Each other creature you control that's a fungus or sapling gets +1/+1. Ah, there he is, guys. I was wondering where that was going to be. It was in green, and it is the key to the Thalid deck. Ugh. Very nice. Untamed Kavu. 2 mana with a 3 mana kicker, Vigilance and Trample. If Untamed Kavu is kicked, it enters the battlefield with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Oh my god, you can kick this thing into a 5 mana 5/5 with Vigilance and Trample. That is really deadly. Grow from the Ashes. Sorcery. It's 3 mana with a 2 mana kicker. Search your library for a basic land card. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. If this spell was kicked, instead search your library for 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Yes, please. That is a very powerful card. It doesn't seem like it's ridiculously good, but it's searching your library for basic land cards, which means you can grab other color lands and get them down, even if you only have like 1 or 2 copies of them, because you only need 1 or 2 of them for some creature. Grow from the Ashes is going to get used. It's going to get used a lot, and it's a common, and that's great. Love that card. Very good card. Want it. Not going to be hard to get either, being a common. Krosan Druid. Centaur Druid for 3 mana with a 5 mana kicker. It's a 2/3 creature that when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, you gain 10 life. Woo! Pretty powerful. That's pretty good. If you're paying 5 mana to gain 10 life is not bad when you're also summoning a 2/3 creature. Pretty good. Pretty good. For a common, it's good. Outside of a common, it's not amazing, but for a common, that's really good. And Pauper decks would absolutely run that. Llanowar Envoy. Another Elf Scout. You pay 1 green and 1 mana of any color to add 1 mana of any color. Another great option for green mana control. Green was lacking a lot of really powerful great mana control stuff in the rest of the blocks from this current standard, so this is great to see it getting it back. Marwyn the Nurturer, another Elf Druid, 3 mana legendary. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Marwyn. And tap to add an amount of green mana equal to Marwyn's power. Very nice. That is a remove it quickly or you'll be sad creature. Very nice. I like that one a lot. Okay. Let's see here. Steelleaf Champion, Elf Knight. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. It's 5/4 for 3 green. That is actually really strong. For 3 mana, I expect a 3/3 creature, not a 5/4 that has, like, crap filtering. This thing is great. Steelleaf Champion is really nice. I like them a lot. They're pretty powerful for what you get. They're not as blatantly devastating as the other triple color guys from this set, but they are more subtly powerful. Sylvan Awakening. Until your next turn, all lands you control become 2/2 elemental creatures with reach, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. Welp, that's going in my big murder land deck. And yeah, the fact that this is an elf and has elf synergy is great too. This right here, this is fun. This will do some nasty stuff. Reach, indestructible, and haste. Turns your whole board into just a bunch of monsters. And since they're indestructible, you can attack with them without losing them, so... Ooh, very nasty. Very nasty business. Yavimaya Sap Herd. Oh, it's a fungus. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. It's a 3-mana 2/2 that gives you a 1/1 token. So it's effectively a 3-mana 3/3. And it's got all the fungus and sapperling synergy. Great card. Again, powerful common. Gonna see a lot of use in that Thalid deck for sure. Baloth Gorger. This is a 4-mana 4/4 with a kicker of 4. If it was kicked, it becomes basically a 7/7. It's alright. I mean, it's a 7/7 for 8. It doesn't have trample or anything, so it's not supremely useful, but it's okay. If it had trample, I'd rate it much higher. Guys, Protector, an elemental warrior for 4 mana. It must be blocked if able, and it is a 4/2. Not bad. Must be blocked if able is very interesting, especially if you can get it buffed or give it indestructible for a turn periodically. You can trade out a lot with 4 attack. And they don't have a say in the matter, which is nice. This is the kind of thing that you play that and then you put like the +1/+1 counter spell on it or something and just buff it. He's pretty nice. He's got some options. I can see him being used. Spore Swarm. Pay 4 mana, create 3/1/1 Sapperlings. Yes. The Sapperlings thing has just become a thing with this set. Damn. That's a great one. Territorial Allosaurus. Oh, another dinosaur. For 4 mana and a 3 mana kicker cost, he's a 5/5. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it fights another target creature. That's really useful. I can see him being used because the fight mechanic is very helpful in dealing with stuff. You can use that to hit flyers. You can use that to hit stuff that they're never going to attack with, so you can't hit it otherwise. Very handy. Wild Onslaught. This is a 4 mana with a 4 mana kicker. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. If this was kicked, put 2 on them instead. That is probably... Oh, that's spitter. Probably a better version, in my opinion, of... let me find it real quick. Strength of the Pack, which is 6 mana, put 2 +1/+1 counters. Because you have the ability to cast it while it's cheaper, or you can pay more than before to get the 2 counters. I like that. I like that a lot. It's an uncommon, whereas that I think is a rare. Was that a rare? Nope, it's an uncommon too. Okay. It's kind of a side grade to that. You have 2 options. And that's always a good thing to have an option with how you want to handle your spells. Let's see here. Mammoth Spider. 3/5 with reach for 5 mana. The fact that it has reach is great. I'd play that. Just as I'd probably have one of those in a lot of different green decks, just because reach is really useful, and a 3/5 creature can probably take most flyers. It's not amazing, but it's not bad by any means. It's an okay card. The Mending of Dominaria. First 2 phases. Put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And then 3rd phase is return all lands from your graveyard to the battlefield, then shuffle your graveyard into your library. Oh, damn. Pretty rad, actually. That's a good one. I can see that getting used in a lot of stuff. Also, this isn't from this set, but I want to point out Overgrown Armosaur, which is a 4/4 with whenever it's dealt damage, create a 1/1 green sapperling. And I also want to point out Tindershoot Dryad, which has Ascend, which is if you control 10 or more permanents, you get the City's Blessing. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 green sapling. Saplings get +2/+2 as long as you have the city's blessing. This stuff is nasty with that existing sapling stuff that's come out now. That very dangerous. Grum, the Lonely King. Legendary creature, Ape Warrior. So he's a 6 mana with a 3 mana kicker. If he was kicked, he enters the battlefield with 5 +1/+1s. When he attacks alone, double his power and toughness until end of turn. So if he attacks alone and kicked, he is a 20/20 creature. Unfortunately, he does not have trample, so he will get chump blocked endlessly. Yes, it does stack, in fact. I believe. Wait, no. Not the +2/+2 if you have the city's blessing, sadly. No, that does not stack. It's just an effect of they have the +2/+2 if you have the city's blessing. If you have 4 of them, it still just says they have +2/+2 if you have the city's blessing, so it's only the +2/+2. I think. I'm almost sure that that's how that works. But I like Grum the Lonely King. The problem is he's so chump blockable. And that's true. You could give him trample, but it's like you have to do more to him to make him functional. Otherwise, he's just the chump chaff killer. I mean, he's a chump serial killer, pretty much. Every turn, somebody's going to have to block his ass. Like, even if he doesn't attack alone, he'll be probably a 5/5 or a 10/10, and that's devastating, but he's okay. The fact that he doesn't have trample pushes him from, like, god tier to okay-ish. Multani Yavamaya's Avatar. Okay. Now, this person is a Reach Trample Elemental Avatar. They're legendary. They get +1/+1 for each land you control and each land in your graveyard. Oh god, it's a nightmare. With Reach and Trample. And you may pay 2 to return 2 lands you control to their owner's hand and return her from your graveyard to your hand. That is really goddamned devastating. That is easily going to have double-digit stats with Reach and Trample. And you can bring her back. She's a mythic rare, and it shows. That is mythic rare levels of power. Yes, she is very goddamned good. Ooh. Ooh. Oh god, I like her. Scary. Primordial Worm is a 6 mana 7/6. It is the me have good stats for the cost Hearthstone Ogre. Basically. That's what that is. They have good stats for their cost. That's literally all you can say about them. They're a 6 mana 7/6. They're great for their cost, but probably not worth it. Thorn Elemental. A 7 mana 7/7. You may have Thorn Elemental assign its combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Oh, no. Oh, that's scary. Well, there's your, it's like, ooh, there's no point blocking him. Unless you can kill it. It's still gonna hit the player. Oh, God. Oh, that's terrifying, dude. That's really messed up. Verdant Force. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 green sapling. Oh god, it's an even bulkier version of the 2/2 that does it. And it costs 8 mana and it's a 7/7. Oh god. Wow, that's... Ooh. I like them. Kamal's Druidic Vow. X mana +2 green. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of land and or legendary permanent cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest into your graveyard. Oh, that's really good considering how fast you're going to get your graveyard back with some of those sagas and stuff. Kamal's Druidic Vow should be a mythic rare, frankly. I'm glad I have one of them, actually, but that should really be a mythic rare for as nuts as that is. It's a legendary sorcery, of course, but still, man, damn, that's just ouch. Ouch. You can do some nasty business in that. And the reason I rated Verdant Force higher, because I I disagree with Carmine's take on this. The reason I rate this higher is because this can go in a deck, and green has so much insane mana curve now that it's very easy to play that for its 8 mana cost. It's very pricey, yes, but it's not so pricey that it's not quite effective, I think, for what it does and how quickly you could play it. Alright, now we have the multicolor stuff. Nyambi, Faithful Healer. They're a white-blue, legendary human cleric. When they enter the battlefield, you may search your library and or graveyard card for a card named Teferi Timebender, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Okay. So it gets Teferi Timebender onto the table. Excuse me, and we'll see how he looks. Ref Capuchin, Ship's Mage, Human Wizard, Flash and Flying, 3 mana. You may cast historic spells as though they had flash. Oh, that's scary. That's pretty scary, actually. That could be pretty powerful. I think that's pretty good. Oath of Teferi. Legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, exile another target permanent you control. Return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. You may activate the loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control twice each turn rather than only once. Oh boy, if you're doing that shit, that's really strong. If you're planeswalker themed, he's really great. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Probably the signature mythic rare of the set, if I had to guess. So he starts with 4 loyalty. You get 1 loyalty plus to draw a card at the beginning of the next end step, untap 2 lands. Cool. Very good. That's powerful on its own. Lose 3 loyalty to put target non-land permanent into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. That's incredibly helpful in getting rid of crap like Nezahal Primal Tide. And lose 8 loyalty to get an emblem with whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent an opponent controls. He is disgustingly good. Disgustingly good. Oh my god, that is absolutely just revolting. Damn. Okay, well, I love him. Teferi Timebender. This is the one that Nyambi gets back. So he's starting at 5 loyalty. Play +2 loyalty to untap 1 target, artifact, or creature. That's good. Lose 3 loyalty to gain 2 life and draw 2 cards. That's great. And lose 9 to take an extra turn after this one. He is game-breakingly strong. Okay, so I would run both of the Teferis in any blue-white deck if I had them. He is a nightmare. That's disgusting. My god, he's so powerful. Oh my god. That's really scary. Oh, that's the one I'm thinking of from before. Okay, Ariel, Knight of Windgrace. Okay, this is definitely a card going in that white-black knight deck. I'm sure Yuki's excited for that, so am I. We got a legendary human knight with vigilance, of course, a 4/4 for 4, which is a good deal. Pay 2 colors and a white and tap to create a 2/2 white knight with vigilance. And you can pay 1 black and tap to tap X untapped knights you control, destroy target creature with power X or less. Oh, God. Wow, that's strong. That's strong. Damn. Oh, hey, a knight who's also a vampire for white-black vampires and white-black knights. Arvad the Cursed. Death Touch and Lifelink, other legendaries get +2/+2. I like him a lot. Wow, he's good. He's a little pricey, but with Death Touch and Lifelink and a buff to legendary creatures, he's very solid. Definitely going in white-black vampires because of Death Touch and Lifelink. Definitely going in white-black knights because of all the above. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. Very expensive 7 mana white-black legendary sorcery. Return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Oh lord. Hi, that one white angel, you're coming back. Yeah. And yeah, Vona is also a vampire knight from another set who's quite handy with paying 7 life and destroying permanents whenever you like. And she's a 4/4 vigilance lifelink. Quite nice. Yeah, that's, ooh. Returning all the legendary permanents from your graveyard to the battlefield is nasty. I see why it's so expensive. Rona, Disciple of Gix. Has a nice fro there. Okay, so this is our blue-black we're getting into now. When they enter the battlefield, you may exile target historic card from your graveyard. You may cast non-land cards exiled with Rona. Pay 4 mana and tap to exile the top card of your library. Interesting. Pretty powerful. Not on par with the bullshit we just witnessed of Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, which is disgusting in every way, but powerful. Let's see here. We got... Adelise, the Cinder Wind. Human Wizard. Legendary, of course. Here's your red-blue wizard enabler, probably. Flying in haste. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, wizards you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Yep, she's disgusting. That is very good. Oh god, that is going to be all over that crazy red-blue wizard concept. Yep, tribal wizards work there. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Who else we got? We got Joria, Weatherlight Captain. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. That is a mythic rare, and there is no reason you would ever not run her in a deck that had the ability to cast her at all. She is so damn awesome. Whenever you cast a legendary, an artifact, or a saga enchantment, you draw a card. Damn. Damn, that's good. Just tack, draw a card onto all those powerful effects. Garna, the Blood Flame. Human Warrior is our red-black. Flash, 3/3 with Flash. A little pricey, but let's see what she does. When she enters the battlefield, return to your hand all creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from anywhere this turn. Oh god, that's nice. Other creatures you control have haste, also nice. Ooh, that's pretty rad. Pretty good. She's not as ridiculous as that last one, but she's really good. Very powerful card. Slimefoot the Stowaway. Legendary Fungus. Here's somebody for that damn green-black fungus deck. Whenever a sapling you control dies, Slimefoot deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you gain 1 life. Create a 1/1 green sapling creature token for 4 mana, and you don't have to tap him to do it. Oh my god, that is going to be just the mainstay of that deck. Because you're going to be blowing up your own saplings just endlessly. And gaining life and dealing damage. And probably drawing cards from those other effects. So, that's super strong. God damn, he's great. I love him. Halar the Fire Fletcher. Oh, we got an elf here for red-green elves, apparently. Trample. 3/3 for 3 is good deal. Whenever you cast a spell, if that spell is kicked, put a +1/+1 counter on Halar. Then Halar deals damage equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it to each opponent. Little tricky to use, but quite powerful. Quite powerful. Little tricky to use. Here's another red-green elf, though. Huh. Okay, so this is Grand Warlord Rada. They're 3/4 for 4 with haste. Good for that cost. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control attack, add that much mana in any combination of red and or green. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Woof! That's a little bit wild. Okay, so I can see him getting used. He's worth getting a little red into your elf deck just because of him. Damn. And then, of course, you'd run Halar then, too. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Solid. No objections for him. Solid card. Pretty good. Certainly going to see play. Tiana, Ship's Caretaker. Legendary Angel Artificer. 5 mana, 3/3 with Flying and First Strike, which puts her stat-wise pretty decent. Whenever an aura or equipment you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you may return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. Damn, that's strong. Oh, God, you can't lose your auras or equipment outside of exiling them or discard. Damn, that's really great. I love that one. That is very nice. Very powerful red and white, yeah. Fire Song and Sunspeaker. Okay, so legendary creature Minotaur Clerics. So 6 mana, 4/6. Red instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. Whenever a white instant or sorcery spell causes you to gain life, Fire Song and Sunspeaker deal 3 damage to target creature or player. Woof! That makes, like, red-white quite viable in terms of throwing lightning bolts and magma sprays. You're going to get life back for using them, equal to their damage, and you're going to deal damage to the target creature or player for using any of your white healing and stuff. Oh, damn, they're really nice. Very good. And a 4/6, so they're quite hard to remove with damage. You'd even probably attack with them a little bit and not worry. Shana, Sisei's Legacy. Human Warrior, it's 2 mana 0/0. Can't be the target of abilities your opponents control. And they get a +1/+1 for each creature you control. That is not bad. It's not amazing, but in the right decks I could see that being used. Just in general, it won't see a lot of play, I think, but in specific decks, she'll be very strong. Let's see here, what else we got? Ah, a Merfolk. Tatyova, Benthic Druid. We got a 5 mana 3/3. When a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. That is an auto-include in every Merfolk deck. She is so damn awesome. Wow, I like her. I like her a lot. Damn, for just 3 colorless, a blue and a green? Hell yeah, she's getting used. That's just so helpful in any Merfolk deck. Daragaz Reincarnated. Okay, we got a triple color legendary creature here. Yeah, Nico Bolas is back from Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation. He's quite fun. He's a good planeswalker. Let's see. He's 4 mana and then a red, a green, and a black. Okay, so this guy's a 7/7 for 7 with Flying, Trample, and Haste. That's kind of level I expect from a triple color. If it would die, instead exile it with 3 egg counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Daragaz is exiled with an egg counter on it, remove an egg counter from it. Then if Daragaz has no egg counters on it, return it to the battlefield. So he comes back on layaway. Pretty nice. You need to exile that guy to get rid of him. So that's pretty good. And it's if he would die. So in any situation, not just in combat, not just from getting drained to like 0 toughness from spells or something. He's a mythic rare. It shows. I love him. Joda, Archmage Eternal. Okay, this guy's pretty cheap. Let's see here. So for 1, you can pay 1 of each color rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. Damn. He's actually very interesting. So he's the Rainbow Mage. Pretty good. Yeah, I kind of like him. Muldrotha the Gravetide is our black, green, blue one. Elemental Avatar. During each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. Oh my god, so you can just play a instant, a sorcery, or no, instants aren't permanent, an enchantment, a land, a creature, and an artifact. Let's see here. Oh yeah, if he has no egg counters on it, and if he is exiled, he returns to the battlefield. You can't get rid of him. It says if he... Oh no, it's then if he has no egg counters. Yeah, he would just stay exiled then if you exiled him. Thank God. Muldrotha the Gravetide is nuts, and I love them. They're really cool and fun to use. I'm gonna want them. Mox Amber. Let's see here. This is a 0 mana artifact. Add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. Very powerful. Very great, especially for 0 mana. That's a great one. Blood Tallow Candle. Let's see here. This is a 1 mana. You can pay 6 mana and tap and sacrifice Blood Tallow Candle for target creature to gain -5/-5 until end of turn. Could be good. Could be good. You'd play it early. It'd be sitting there waiting for use. Meanwhile, it would proc any artifact effects for you. I'm going to say that's an alright one. Navigator's Compass. When this enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. Tap, and until end of turn, target land you control becomes the basic land type of your choice in addition to its other types. Boom, that is a great, great artifact. For 1 mana, that is great for rainbow decks. It's great for multicolor decks. That is just great. Ooh. Ooh, that is nice. I'm not really sure how you could get a first turn win with this card, so not in standard, so it's quite, plus it's a mythic rare and it's probably quite expensive. So no, I think that's quite fine for what it is. It's actually a very good card. Short Sword. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. Wow, that's actually really nice. Just a +1/+1 counter that you can move around essentially. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Sorcerer's Wand. Equipped creature has tap. This creature deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. If this creature is a wizard, it deals 2 damage instead. Another really nice one. Wow, those are great. That's pretty good. Okay. Sparring Construct. Artifact creature construct. When Sparring Construct dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. A 1 mana for a 1/1 that dies and gives a 1/1 buff is good. So far, I like Short Sword, Sorcerer's Wand, and Sparring Construct here. They're real nice. They can do a lot for you. These are cards that could go... This would obviously go in your wizard deck. This could go in any deck. And this could go in pretty much any deck, too. Pretty nice. Blackblade Reforged. Legendary Artifact. 2 mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. It costs 3 to equip it on a legendary creature or 7 to equip it on another creature. Okay. That is very nice. I like that one. Solid rare. I have one of those. I'm pretty happy about it. I think that's pretty rad. Damping Sphere. 2 mana artifact. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces colorless instead of any other type and amount. Each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell player has cast that turn. Here's the I fucking hate you blue card, thankfully. And yeah, to respond to Darcy, the rack isn't in standard. Standard is everything right now from Amonkhet upwards. So, yeah, you certainly can't win on turn 1 with anything. Not even remotely in standard. You would need to do a lot to win otherwise with stuff in modern even, so I don't think you can do a turn 1 win no matter what you do. Let's see. Yeah, Damping Sphere is pretty good, actually. If you're not going to go heavy spell casting, Damping Sphere is at the very least a sideboard auto-include for most decks. If you're not casting heavily, it's probably something you'd include in your main deck, just to piss off red and blue, mostly. And slow them down, which is very important. Jousting Lance. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. As long as it's your turn, equipped creature has first strike. Costs 3 to equip and 2 to put onto the table. Pretty good. First strike +2/+0? Yeah, it's not bad. I like it. Shield of the Realm. 2 mana, equip 1 cost. If a source would deal damage to equipped creature, prevent 2 of that damage. Ooh, that is a nice thing, because that lets you keep your squishy guys alive through stuff like lightning bolts. Like critical creatures for decks that are fragile would greatly benefit from the Shield of the Realm. I love that. That's really nice. Nice card. That's something that I can see going in a lot of decks and getting some use. Urza's Tome. Pay 3 mana and tap to draw a card, then discard a card unless you exile a historic card from your graveyard. Not bad at all. Cheap card draw that causes you to discard stuff that you didn't want anyway? Yeah, great. I like it. Volatile Servant. 2 mana artifact creature that's 1/3. At the beginning of your end step, untap target artifact. Oh my, that is quite powerful. Or voltaic, not volatile. Pretty powerful, actually. I like him real well. I can see him getting some use. Aether Glider. Bird Construct. Let's see here. Flying and it can't block. It's a 2/1 for 3. I'm I'm gonna say it's not very good. A 3-mana 2/1 with flying... There's just so many better flyers. Even, like, that's kind of crap. There's gotta be a few duds. Forebear's Blade. Okay, artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+0. And has vigilance and trample. Oh god, you can give the monkey guy trample. Another equipped creature dies, attach Forebear's Blade to target creature you control. So you only have to equip it once, and it's just going to jump to new people each time. Pretty nice for a +3/+0 with vigilance and trample, to be frank with you. That's a good one. I can dig that. Howling Golem. Whenever Howling Golem attacks or blocks, each player draws a card. 2/3 for 3. Could be useful, could be bad. I'm really torn on how Howling Golem's gonna be. He reminds me of Howling Mine in a way, but I like him. I mean, I like him personally, but I don't know if he's great. He's kind of interesting. Fascinating card, that. Huh. Power Stone Shard. Ah, Geo Crystal. Tap to add a colorless for each artifact you control named Power Stone Shard. Huh. Interesting. Not great, but probably good. Skittering Surveyor. It's a 1/2 construct for 3. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. Actually good. Actually good. You can open the game with this early and just grab lands if you got kind of screwed on land draw. This guy's useful. He's got some useful stuff. I like him. Amaranthine Wall. 0/6 for 4. Defender gains indestructible until end of... God damn, that's a nice one. Okay, so 4 mana gets you a 0/6 wall. It can never attack, because it's a defender. And you can pay 2 mana to make it indestructible until the end of the turn at instant speed. I like that wall. That is one of my favorite walls in Standard right now. Hell yeah. Very nice. Can't give enough praise to that thing. That's never going away unless you exile it. Because they'll just indestructible the damn thing. Very lovely. Helm of the Host. Legendary artifact. 4 mana here. Costs 5 to equip it. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary. If equipped creature is legendary, that token gains haste. Okay. So, the Helm of the Host is devastating. Create a copy of equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary if equipped creature is legendary. And the token gets haste. Oh my god, that is scary. There is so much random horrible crap you could pull with that. That just... Oh god, that's evil. I'm rating that very, very highly in this set because there's so much horrifying... hateful shit you can do. If you put that on the damn angel that makes every other creature hexproof, then you'd end up with 2 hexproof angels out of that, and then just constantly clone more hexproof angels that are like 4/4s or whatever, and have haste, so they're able to just swing instantly. I love Helm of the Host. You'd have to get rid of that quickly, or that would win the game. Icy Manipulator. 4 mana artifact. You pay 1 and tap it. Tap target artifact, creature, or land. Very helpful. Very, very helpful. That's a powerful thing. I like that. That's a classic, and it's quite useful. Joyra's Familiar. A artifact creature bird. I love the art. It's adorable. 2/2 for 4 with flying, and historic spells cost 1 less to cast. Yes. I can see that getting used in some decks. Definitely. We have Juggernaut. Juggernaut attacks each combat if able and can't be blocked by walls. It's a 4 mana 5/3 artifact creature and is quite nice. Pretty rad. Pretty rad. And here we have Karn, Scion of Urza. This is a 4 mana colorless planeswalker, which is very unusual and very cool. Starts at 5. 5 loyalty. You +1 loyalty to reveal the top 2 cards of your library. An opponent chooses one of them. Put that card into your hand and exile the other with a silver counter on it. -1 to put a card you own with a silver counter on it from exile into your hand. And -2 to create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Oh no. Oh, I'm scared. This guy is really helpful. He's not the most devastatingly powerful planeswalker around. He doesn't directly win you the game, but he gives you a lot of power, and he's really cool. I highly recommend him if you get him. I might actually spend my wild card on him because he'd go in damn near anything. Since he's colorless mana, you can put him anywhere. He's just an extra planeswalker to do something. Yeah, I mean, he's there for every deck. He's helpful. Next up, we've got Thran Temporal Gateway. 4 mana and tap, you may put a historic permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. This is good for those expensive-ass historics. Pretty cool. Not bad at all. Traxos, Scourge of Krug. A giant artifact monster here. It's 4 mana, 7/7 trample. So right out of the gate, that's pretty good. He enters the battlefield tapped and doesn't untap during your untap step. Whenever you cast a historic spell, untap Traxos. He wouldn't be good if it weren't for that Voltaic guy who can untap your artifacts for you. In which case, he combos real well and becomes a nightmare. Weatherlight, legendary artifact, vehicle. This is a flying 4/5 artifact vehicle with a crew of 3 requirement, so you need to tap any number of creatures with total power 3 or more for it to basically be able to attack. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a historic card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Pretty nice. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I can see that seeing a lot of use. Gilded Lotus. Here's a classic. It's a 5 mana artifact, tap to add 3 mana of any one color. It was good back in the day when it was any other variety of this crap. It's good now. It's still good. Get it, use it, love it. It's good in just about any deck, frankly. Guardians of Koilos. Artifact creature construct. 4/4 for 5. When the Guardians of Koilos enters the battlefield, you may return another target historic permanent you control to its owner's hand. Quite useful. Quite useful to get stuff back that's going to expire, like those sagas, things like that. Yeah, another nice one. Mishra's Self-Replicator. Now here's a nasty one for pure colorless decks that like artifacts a lot. Artifact creature, Assembly Worker. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you may pay 1. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Mishra's Self-Replicator. So, yeah, there you go. He's a 2/2 for 5, but you can generate tons of him later down the line. Pretty nice. Teferi Sentinel is a Golem 2/6. As long as you control a Teferi Planeswalker, it's actually a 6/6. Okay, not bad. If you're using Teferi, you'd use him. If you're not, probably not. Pardic Wanderer is a 5/5 trample for 6. Not amazing, but certainly not a bad card. It's decent. Memorial to Genius. Okay, we're into the lands, finally. This enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to add a blue, so it's basically an island, but you can pay 4 colorless and a blue and tap it and sacrifice it to draw 2 cards. Pretty great. Late in the game, you're going to have a lot of mana and too many lands. So, yeah. Oh yeah, and it should be pointed out, each of these tokens has that ability, so you can generate even more of them. So you're going to generate just crap tons of him. And then you can work with, like, Karn, and the constructs are going to have, like, +90/+90, because you got a million of these stupid 2/2 guys. So it's cool. Cabal Stronghold. Tap to add 1 colorless, or pay 3 and tap to add a black for each basic swamp you control. A very nice rare land. Pretty great. Memorial to Folly. The battlefield tapped. This is like the last Memorial. It's a black version, and you pay 2 and a black and tap and sacrifice it to return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Great. Memorial to War, same deal, except you sacrifice this one to destroy a target land. Actually pretty good. Later in the game, you're going to want to blow up some of their special lands. Did I miss one? Oh, I missed Memorial to Glory, yeah. Sorry. Enters the battlefield tapped. You sacrifice it to make 2 1/1 white soldiers. Okay. Memorial to War is really one of the better ones. That the blue one that gives you the 2 card draw is great, but this for later to just blow up lands because it's late in the game and the opponent has crazy good lands that you don't like anymore. Pretty nice. Memorial to Unity is the green version. You pay, you look at the top 5 cards of your library, you may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, so it's basically Commune with dinosaurs, but with any creature. Not too bad. The fact that you have to sacrifice it, thank goodness, is important. Yeah, Cabal Stronghold is interesting. Let's see, what was the base blue one that you don't destroy? We haven't seen the other ones that you don't destroy yet, actually, so we'll see what they get. Yeah, you can blow up any land with it, which is nice. Isolated Chapel is a black-green that enters tapped unless you control a plains or a swamp. Not bad. You'll see that in that white-black deck. Meandering River enters the battlefield tapped, and it's the dual color white-blue. I'll skip over the lands that don't have special effects because they're just the color lands. Sulphur Falls, yep, that's a dual color for this set. Cemetery, don't destroy. That's good art. I love the Clifftop Retreats art, though. These are all the classic versions of such things. Any more Dominaria lands? No, doesn't look like it. There's one more. Hang on. Okay, and finally you get Zalfrin Void, which is a colorless land that scry 1/1 enters the battlefield. Nothing amazing, but it's an okay-ish land. So that is the whole Dominaria set. I hope everybody's liked this card review and the kind of first look at all of Dominaria. Next time we stream, we're going to be playing, and it's going to be an environment with all these crazy new cards. So I will see you all next time. Thanks for coming around and looking at all the new cards with me and listening to my opinion. If you are watching this in post or just right now, if you have some strong opinions on a particular card, you think I've got one all wrong, or even if you just agree with something strongly, please let me know in the comments. I love to hear from everybody. I will see you all next time. Goodbye for now, everybody.